Have some vitamins.
What's going on, motherfuckers? Welcome to the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. My name is Knackers, and today is Sunday, October 4th, 2020, and this is episode number 130. Dude, I looked at my OBS really quick, and I realized that I didn't remember what scene I was supposed to press to get to this scene, and I got super confused all of a sudden, but now we're here, and it's okay, so don't you guys worry.
Nervous and flustered at the same time.
A little. You okay, Conbot?
I think it lagged a little bit.
I did see a little hiccup.
We're fine now.
You good? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I streamed on Friday night, and so it's not like it's been that long since I've streamed. But however, nowadays I am streaming a lot less than I normally do. So like, when there's more and more days in between you streaming, sometimes when you sit down and you go to start, you're like, oh, what do I do? Where
forget everything?
Yeah, it's all the stuff that's supposed to be second nature is just gone completely out the window. It's crazy.
I get that.
I think that's why they call it second nature and not first nature.
This is true, right? Yeah, because you're like, because like you see a penis,
First
you know what needs to happen.
Yeah, first nature is like you pee. That's not
right.
second. You don't forget how to pee.
Right.
No.
Do you ever? Okay, this is some deep dark stuff. But do you ever go to the bathroom and like right before you're about to pee, think, what if there's something inside my penis that stops the pee from coming out, and it just doesn't? Like, you know, you're getting older. Parts of your body start to fail. Like, do you ever just think, what if I just can't pee? Like, what if there's something that is blocking my fallopian tube? Nothing comes out, and then I'm forced to hold it in. And because there's nothing worse than having to go somewhere while you have to pee.
Right.
What is your, first of all, on the show tonight, we have Conbot789 and we have Bishop GP. Bishop, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing, you going for it?
You want to get awesome? You decided to,
dude. Doing a great job, man. I'm ready for a podcast, dude. I've spent like the past 3 days straight trying to code a DayZ server, so I've had a really good time. Let's just say that I've been having a great time debugging, so I'm happy to be here.
Good shit. And Mr. Conbot, how are you today, sir?
Yes, very similar to Bishop's response. Just kind of,
Disappointed, says my dad is saying, so have you?
Like a sim, dude.
Yeah, right.
That's essentially how I feel. I feel like a sim.
Locked in a basement with fire all around you.
Yeah, just going through it, you know?
What is, in Combat, you're going to go first because you are our special guest tonight. And for those of you who don't know, it's okay. He's really easy to miss, but Middle Age Stream is not on the podcast tonight.
I'm just glad I could replace him. I'm really happy about that.
We are too. It could have been anybody to just get that guy the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So, from what I heard, he actually tried getting into the whole fridge cheese trend, and it actually came back and bit him in the butt. So,
backfired.
He's been hospitalized from cheese diarrhea for the past 2 weeks.
Fun.
So
cheese diarrhea is nasty. I'm going to lower my volume here because I think I'm much louder. Give me a quick audio test there, Bishop.
1, 2, 3, 4, my guy.
All right, that's good. And good. Cumbod, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4. Drinking Mountain Dews, you know?
Mountain Dew. You got Mountain Dew on your breath? You drink my Mountain Dew?
It's in the dew, brother.
Mountain Dew.
All right, so I had to lower myself a little bit. However, Conbot, what is the most terrible time that you have had holding your pee in? Like, if you could think back to a time in your life where, like, this is the worst and the longest that I have had to pee ever. Do you have a specific story that you can remember?
I mean, pretty much every time I go to the movie, I go to the end. Like, even if it's a movie I do not care about, I will hold that shit until the very end. So like that every time. So luckily I haven't had to deal with it lately, but well, not luckily. I do miss the movie theater, but pretty much every time I would go to the movie theater.
Okay. How about you, Bishy?
Definitely road trips. Like, if you're ever trying to make it somewhere at night, in like where I used to live in Arizona, between there and Vegas or there in California, there's literally nothing for like stretches of like an hour at a time. And of course, when I'm driving, I'm like chugging Red Bull and fucking drinking water and like all of the things that would ultimately make you need to take a piss. Like I had like packed fucking asparagus and sitting there and chewing on it, trying to make it as bad as possible. But I remember a few times where like I was driving, which is the worst because you can't do anything properly when you need to pee. Like you can't fully focus on something when you need to pee. And I know I was driving and I was like, it got to a point where literally it was just like convulsions of my taint trying to hold my piss back. But after you pee, it's like you're a phoenix coming up from the ashes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You feel like a whole new man after you pee, after you've been really holding it back. But that wasn't the first story that came to my mind. That's just one that I know of. But it is bathroom related. When I was a kid, it's bathroom related. So not pee, but the other hole.
Your mouth?
You know, like, yeah, my mouth. You know, when you go skiing or snowboarding, there's like the overalls that you wear. So I must have been like 8 or 9 years old. So we were wearing like the padded overalls, and then you wear like a jacket over top of it.
I don't think they're called
and
overalls.
I really had to take a shit. Okay. And I'm not entirely sure, but I might have IBS, but I don't know. My grandpa has Crohn's, so I don't know if it's related to that. But sometimes I just have to get it done. Like it like sidelines my day if I have to take a poop. And I remember I was skiing with my family, and we pulled over at this lodge, and I was like, finally, I got to go. And remind you, or I'm only a kid at this point, and I went and I was like, I really had to go, and I went and took to take a poop in the bathroom. Dropped my overalls off, sat down on the toilet, pooped, and I was like, okay, I'm relieved. I go to stand up and I turned around and my overalls were inside of the toilet and I shit inside of my overalls.
No.
Yeah, my skiing overalls. And I just turned around and looked at it and I was like, fuck. So I had to ski the rest of the day. Like I got most of it out, but like imagine having diarrhea and then trying to clean it in the mountains in like a snow lodge with like the things that are there. So you like my ski poles and my fucking like the lack of toilet paper that they have. And I cleaned the shit out of the back of the suit, but it still stunk, right? Like, cause there's like, it's not like I can get to the sink and like clean my shit out of the back of my suit. So yeah, it was kind of, I was in there so long. And like, this is before like the time of me having a cell phone. I was in there so long that like, I was just hoping my dad would show up and come and help me. And eventually he did, which is like, imagine being a parent and you're like, wow, my kid's been in the bathroom a really long time. I should go check on him. So it was long enough. And I basically spent the rest of the ski day just smelling my own shit, skiing down the hill.
Oh my God.
Everything just covered in poop, dude.
Can I get a PeePoo PeePoo emote check, please? Oh my God.
Check,
I want to, because I can only imagine that emote is exactly what you looked like waiting for your dad to come in and help you clean out your snow pants.
Just imagine like having the thing that I can compare it to most that isn't related to shitting is like you spend all night writing a huge essay. You wake, like you're ready to go to school, you get to school, and then all of a sudden you like destroy the essay somehow. Like it just lights on fire and just burns. Yep. And then you're just like, okay, fuck me. Like my whole day ahead of me is going to suck now. And I know it. And that's how I felt. And then I had to be exposed to my own feces for the rest of the day. So that was, yeah. It was interesting.
The snow overalls, because
yes,
I don't know. I've never gone skiing or snowboarding, but I've never heard of those. So I feel like we just wear coats and snow pants and fucking
snow pants. Snow pants is what he means, but he's from Phoenix, where apparently the weather fucks with your brain.
It's called something different. Got it.
Well, there, bud. I'm from fucking Kelowna, there, bud. We wear fucking overalls and we do everything. We wear
snow
overalls
pants,
doing
bud.
Everything there, bud. But yeah, they were like it's called Winter Boys Snow Pants. You can see those. But it's like overalls that come all the way up like above your waist. And when I took them off, like you snap them from here, took them off, and like obviously like it folded down into the toilet. Kind of like those covers that you put on the toilet, the little thin paper ones, and know how they always fall into the toilet? Yeah. It was just like that, but my overalls just terrible.
My God.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
day of my life.
but that's fucking hilarious. Like that is amazing.
I don't know how like I didn't die.
How old you were?
I was 8 or 9 years old. Okay. I was really young.
Okay.
No, I was like 25.
That was last year.
I think the fact that I was a child, I was able to get out. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, it's just a kid covered in shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where like if it was an adult, it would be a little bit weirder. You know?
So my worst pee story was this. I was in Florida. We were visiting my ex-girlfriend's parents, and this was the most bougiest thing that I've ever done. Not the pee story, but like their aunt and uncle lived in Florida on the coast. And they also had like, there was a part of where the ocean came inland, and it was almost like a lake on the, like, off the coast, but it was still connected to the ocean by something called like a river. I don't understand geography, so whatever. But they're like, hey, we're going to go to this restaurant. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go to the restaurant. Turns out the only way to get to this restaurant is by boat. There is an island in the middle of this lake where there's like a country club. Isn't that called
a lagoon? It's a lagoon.
Is that what it's actually called?
I think so. It's like a lake next to a large body of water. I think so.
What is a lagoon? I only know lagoon by Laguna Beach. A stretch of salt water separated from the sea by a low sandbank or a coral reef. Sandbank, not sandbake. Sandbank.
Maybe that's not right. Maybe it's a bay. Maybe a bay or a lagoon.
Yeah. That makes more sense. More sense. So we get on their fucking massive boat, and then we go to this restaurant, and we're having like these super crazy cocktails all day. And then we go like wakeboarding and stuff. And then on the way back, of course, like for anybody that knows boating, every boat trip starts and ends with 20 to 25 minutes of going 2 miles an hour through the port because you can't make waves. So you're just slowly going through. And all of my cucumber vodkas had caught up with me on the way back. And before we had gotten to the port, it was just nothing but just bouncing up and down. And it's seriously...
Like that one video?
Which video?
I'll tell you. That gave me like a perfect visual of this one video that I fucking love.
Okay. Is it the 5 people on the speedboat and then the guy with the bald hat?
Oh, yep. And like people like flying around the entire boat.
I watched that video like
thousands of times.
Isn't that
there's the Harlem Shake version of that video is like
oh my god, yes. Yo, can we go back to Harlem Shake time when the internet was just so much more simple? So anyway, so on the way back, constantly, and I'm looking at her uncle, like, dude, I have to pee so bad. Like, I feel like my insides are bleeding. I've never been in so much pain from having to pee. And he's like, just go down below and grab the pee cup. And I'm like, the pee cup? He goes, yeah, everybody pees on the boat. So you walk down into the cabin, and literally on the shelf, there's this massive, like, you know, when you go to a barbecue place, and they've got like big plastic cups that like souvenir cups that you can take. It's this massive cup. He's like, just pee in the cup and then pour it off the side of the boat. So of course I went down there, peed in the cup, and then I threw my urine off the side of the boat. And there has never been a more satisfying urination stop in my fucking life. Like, how many things have you encountered in your life where something completely eases pain in a matter of seconds? Like, you know, when you like fall and let's say you fall off the counter and you smash your ribs. So it's like, it's insane. Right. It's an insane amount of pain. Right. Hypothetically speaking, doesn't happen. But to like take a painkiller and it just go, ooh, and just the pain leave your body. That doesn't happen with anything unless you do heroin, which I know nothing about.
Right. So from your experience doing heroin. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
It's just like that. Not that I would know, but it's just like that.
The equivalent to your story, Knackers, would have been when you pushed through the pee cup off board if Weenie was sitting behind you and it like hit her in the face. You know what I mean? Because of the wind. That was my story. But I flicked it out into the water, and then it came back and splashed in my mouth. That would have been my story.
That would have been fantastic. Yeah. Except you did just get my current girlfriend mixed up with my ex-girlfriend, and now she's going to kill you.
Wait, Weenie?
Yeah, because this story was way back.
Gotcha. So, okay, copy. Gotcha.
So actually, if my pee would have gotten in my ex-girlfriend's face, Weenie would probably be very happy. So you actually that's probably okay.
Okay, you're welcome, Weenie. I'm now imagining it.
But Weenie and Chad saying Zoloft, it makes you melt. We'll be sitting on the couch sometime, and we'll both take our vitamins for the day, and then all of a sudden I'll look over at her and she goes, Zoloft's kicking in, dude.
I'm pretty sure Zolofts aren't vitamins.
Well, those are her vitamins.
Oh, gotcha.
We all have our own vitamins.
This is true.
We all have our own vitamins.
So for anybody in chat that doesn't know, Conbot is a good friend of both of ours. Conbot actually met. Did you meet me through Bishop, or did you find my channel first and then you found the other people?
I was
Howie?
No, I didn't meet Howie until after the fact. I think I was just like looking through. I was wanting to watch The Witcher 3. Yeah, I was wanting to watch The Witcher 3, and I just like found some person, and I said, "Oh, pink lights. Okay, cool. I like pink. That's my favorite color." And then, yeah,
and that was it.
So I just randomly found him.
Can you do an exclamation point follow age in chat right now to see? Because I'm actually super curious on that date.
I think it was like during the summer of
2018.
That's not how you spell it.
No, you. Bishop got it. Conbot did not.
Follow.
Follow. Wage.
Flow wage.
There you go. July of 2018. So actually a couple months after Bishop.
That was like almost exactly a month later. Holy shit. Or 2 months.
2 months.
I'm more.
Easy there, mathematician.
Whoa. June is completely lost there. Took too many Zoloft in June. Can't remember it.
Didn't happen.
So Conbot found me through streaming, and then we found out that we both lived in Michigan. We've hung out a few times, and it's been all super, super awesome. Conbot's been on the podcast before, and Conbot also streams on Twitch. So if you want, check him out at conbot789/twitch.tv. But
TV.
yeah, how you been, man? How's life? How's the streaming thing going? I know you haven't had a haircut in at least 6 months, but let me say, you looked like you could play Matthew McConaughey's role Mud, which he's a sexy motherfucker in that movie. If you don't know the movie Mud, you don't know cinema. It's a bad movie. It is not a good movie.
Gamer Jesus.
You could also be like an upbeat modern Jesus, and I can tell you what, there's a lot of people that like Jesus, dude. So you got something going for you right now.
Wait. I thought Jesus was pretty upbeat already. I don't know.
I mean,
turning water into wine. That's pretty cool.
Talking about, let's be honest.
Motherfuckers were getting their ears chopped off, and Jesus was like, "Everybody, chill. We're fine."
I would say he was pretty upbeat, related to the time period.
Yeah,
Jesus and upbeat. I kind of think of Jesus being like an electro swing kind of guy, you know, like.
I'm pretty sure Jesus wasn't. I'm 100% certain that he wasn't white.
You know, there actually is a huge conspiracy behind that, where like he's just been depicted as a white man,
as a white guy, but he definitely was not white.
Yeah, he was Thai. No one knows this, but he was actually from Thailand.
There's a certain way that Jesus was depicted to Jehovah's Witnesses, and that was definitely like a short black hair, moderate sized beard, but a white guy for the most part.
Yep.
There's depictions of Jesus where he's got like super long, thin, curly hair and just like a massive, massive beard. And like growing up seeing Jesus a certain way, you see how other people see Jesus and you're like, I don't think that's Jesus, right? Because you've had this image in your mind the entire time. It's like, I think you guys like a different Jesus than we do. I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's Jesus, dude.
The one picture that I knew was like this one that like some Swedish dude drew or whatever. And my grandpa actually knew the guy who like made that painting. It's like everywhere. It's like probably top 5 pictures of or paintings of Jesus. But my grandpa knew the guy, or like went to school with the guy who painted it. So that's my random fact.
The Jesus.net/the most famous paintings of Jesus. That is a real website. Jesus.net, bro. HTTPS. They've got an SSL cert, so you know they're legit. Jesus.net. I want to know how much it costs to renew that domain. That is fucking insane.
Dude, tell me that this is not Conbot. This picture. It's literally Conbot, dude.
I mean, I don't have a halo around my head, and I don't really wear like
green
red
screen it.
patch.
You have a green screen, dude.
I do have a green screen.
Okay, the next show, I need you to have a white T-shirt and a red curtain. I don't know what that could possibly be over your left shoulder, but that's pretty on point.
We sometimes on Tendy Time like to go onto I can't remember what it's called.
Chat roulette.
It's like chat roulette.
Omegle?
Omegle, yeah. We go on that and we like take turns like just spinning the dice and seeing what we get. And I got called Gamer Jesus like a bunch of times. Like they'd be like, "Oh my God, Jesus!" I'm like, "You think Jesus is showing up on?"
That's what he's doing these days. He's on Eagle.
That's what he's up to.
What?
Hey, nice dick, Jesus.
Nice cock. Nice cock.
I mean, there are still definitely dicks on there, but it is, I would say, compared to like 5 or 10 years ago, it's a lot better. It's a lot better.
Like, there's more dicks or less dicks?
Less.
Really?
Less dicks.
There's
way
a
less
fall
dicks.
off of dicks is what you're getting at.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's probably because people know that everybody is recording those now. Like,
True.
there's way less fun in flashing your penis if somebody's going to be able to see it after the fact. Like, if you know that it's only going to be seen then, it's probably way more enticing to be like, oh, I'm going to flash the pee-pee.
That was the other thing that happened is like, right, because I would use this camera and I had this mic, and so people would be like, "Oh, you're recording!" Like immediately, that's what they would say. And I'd be like, "I'm not. I just have this stuff, you know." So like, yeah, it was just like I either got told I was Jesus, or they were like, "You're a YouTuber and you're recording this right now," kind of deal.
I think that probably ruins it for a lot of people, you know, because they're on there to have like. They're fucking Tom Petty. They're free falling. They don't want any of this stuff to come back and bite them. They just want to go on, have the random interaction, and then get off. So I can imagine that's probably like when people
they definitely
think
want to get off.
Yeah, you see what I did there? Thank you for catching on to that. How is now? To my knowledge, Tendy Time is kind of your first scheduled routine multi-stream with other streamers. Am I correct?
I don't think we've streamed it in months. It was
for really?
Like a little bit, but yeah, we kind of just don't really. I mean, sometimes, but like, it really just depends on if we have like a good idea. You know, like we don't want to force it. Like I have this other group of friends that I sometimes like co-stream with it, and it's like if we don't have like a good game that we want to play or something like that, like we don't want to force it, make this like scheduled event, and it feels like a chore. You know what I mean? If it's like, oh, there's this cool game that like all of us want to play. And we're all feeling like streaming that day, then yeah, sure, we'll all stream together. But yeah, we try not to like force it kind of deal.
So that was going to be my question, because I've had plenty of scheduled multi-streams. I actually used to do something called multi-stream Monday, where every Monday I would dual stream with a brand new person.
How long did that last?
I want to say that I did like 10 or 11 of them, not necessarily in a row. But there's just so many other factors that, first of all, trying to have a scheduled night stream with a day job these days, I've gotten a lot better. I would say that I fall asleep after work a lot less nowadays, and Weenie can attest to this or detest. I don't know if that's the actual counter word to that. But I've been able to stay up a lot later. Like I've been able to play video games later. I've been able to play video games on the weeknights. Like I've gotten better, but it's still really, really difficult. It's also very difficult to find people that I genuinely vibe with that won't be a terrible co-host, right? Because multi-streaming it's not just something that anybody can do. You kind of have to have been around the block. You have to know how to address the other person that you're streaming with. You need to know when to mute yourself. It's kind of a thing. And
it's not that we did like, and the couple times that we've done streams together, either with Tendy Time or I have a group that we call Climax Gaming.
Hey,
the peak of gaming. Okay. It's like, we all like like to hang out with each other. It's just like it becomes like this thing where we're all kind of trying to focus. Our focus is just thrown everywhere, and we can't like really hang out with each other. It's like you're focused on chat, you're focused on the game, you're focused on each other, and so it's like if it's a really fun game that we're like really feeling, and we're really all for feeling it, or really everybody's feeling it then we'll do it. But if it's like we don't really know what to play, one of us is tired from working all day, then we just say not this week, and maybe we'll play offline some other time. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Did you just stop streaming it because it started to feel like a chore, or did it just naturally just fall off and being streamed?
So I wouldn't say. So I have like I have like two separate kind of like multi streams that I've done: Tendy Time and then this Climax Gaming thing. Climax Gaming kind of felt like I think all of us like decided like this feels like a chore, right? Like not that we don't want to hang out with each other, but like it feels like every day that we want to do this, we had to come up with a plan, and we get all stressed and we can't figure out what game we're playing and all this stuff. And so it was like, let's just not have this be a thing, but like if it happens, it happens. And then Tendy Time, just like we couldn't find another, like when we were streaming our Tendy Time, it was like we were playing The Forest, which is like the perfect game.
Man.
It's like the perfect game to stream with other people, right?
Yep.
It's like it's kind of laid back enough to where you can have time to talk to chat. It's laid back enough to where you can talk to the people that you're playing with, but you can also have like your own things. It's like it was like the perfect game, and we just haven't really found a game like that again. You know what I mean? We tried to play Grounded one time, but that was kind of a disappointment, at least in its beta version.
Bishop, I know you have a history of multi-streams as well. As I especially remember when you and Casey first moved into each other.
Yeah, when we were first in,
yeah, when you were first inside of each other, and you guys had one of the coolest dual streaming setups I've ever seen, with you guys NDIing each other's gameplay. And so I know that you know just as well as anybody, multi-streams are, I don't want to say that it's a double-edged sword, but there's so much good and there's so much bad. For one, being able to have a day where you can hang out with people on stream, like hang out with friends, there's less chat interaction, but there's less you worrying about chat as well. Like you're able to just sit there, have a good time, and broadcast it for the people that are watching. Do you enjoy doing multi-streams, Bishop? Or are they kind of like, I'd rather just have a special event every once in a while?
Yeah, I think if it's a scheduled thing, Conbot's right, where it becomes kind of a thing where you're forcing the interaction instead of just doing it whenever you feel like, whenever it feels right. So I definitely feel that. I don't like scheduling things just in general because I'm really hot and cold with games just in general, and then just sometimes not with people, but like me wanting to interact with other people or just like disappear and play DayZ by myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the other thing is like just consistency, right? Like one time, you'll have like a lot to do within the game and you guys are focusing on the content or like the game itself. And you're just playing off of each other. And then other times, like one person's chat will be like, if you're doing a multi-stream, one person's chat will be slow. So they're trying to interact with the other streamer, but the other streamer's chatting with chat and they miss it. And then it's kind of like you just end up, wandering around a little bit. So it's tough to, I think it just comes down to experience. Like it's tough to figure out how to do it just right. But I think like, when it comes down to certain games, like if you look at like Let's Plays, I think that what, successful, like Rooster Teeth, what successful companies and successful groups do is that they identify an objective for that stream. So let's say they have a Minecraft server that they all play on, right? They're all actively playing. But then let's say on Friday, they're like, hey, let's do like a challenge where the first person to get, a whole stack of diamond armor wins. So it has like a clear start and end point. The problem with games like The Forest and games like, any game that you tend to play is eventually you kind of like run out of things to do. So there isn't much like of a progression beyond that. And Minecraft can be like that. So unless you like curate that content, in most cases, like Casey and I were playing Borderlands, and this happened with that. In most cases, you've seen the content and kind of been through it, so you're not really like experiencing it together. Eventually, It kind of like you're just kind of like re-witnessing it, and then it just becomes like a chat interaction sort of thing. So I like them. I think that they're a good idea, but I think that you have to have some sort of context surrounding it, like an objective. Because the other thing is, a lot of the time you don't know when the other person wants to end. And I'm like you, when we play like Rogue Company or a game like that, I wait until the other group members want to be done, and then I'm like, okay, I'll get off when they get off. So it's kind of tough not knowing like if they want to do another mission or how they're feeling, especially if like they're talking to chat and then you're trying to get them to do something with you, or like talking to them and then you don't hear from them. You don't know what they're feeling, so you're kind of like, should I be patient? So I'm not like a big multi-streaming guy. I like the idea of it, but it's tough to like get everyone on the same page without like a clear objective of like start and end, and like what, like playing the Forest, like when Conbot was doing it, they had 3 people, so 2 people would be interacting and then one person would interact with chat, and then it would kind of trade off when one person could take a break and kind of have a moment to read chat. But it's tough with 2 people. So yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about it. In the greater scheme of things, I think in most cases it just comes down to experience and finding like the right people. That like, there's some people that are terrible at streaming by themselves but great in groups. Yes. I tend to be that a little bit, but on the other side, there's people that are great at streaming, but when it comes to multi-streaming in groups, they're not, the best. So you just have to find the right people, and then find the right games to keep it interesting.
I definitely think it really depends on the game too. What I mean? Like some games you just like, there's too much going on, like it's like, you just can't do it. So yeah, it totally, at least in what I've done, it really does come down to the game very much. So
even,
if you're scheduling something as well with like a group of people and one person's really into that game and then the other 2 aren't, or vice versa, 2 are into it and then the other person isn't, or all 3 people aren't into the game, it becomes tough because you're just trying to find a game that works.
Sure.
Or like in most cases, like sometimes you just want to sit and play and hang out with your friends, and play games with your friends. Like Casey and I nowadays, I think Borderlands was the last game that we streamed together, or maybe World of Warcraft. But in most cases, we just, we'll play Age of Empires or something we both enjoy offline and have a good time doing it because we both, know what to expect. So
I even the same comes with just regular playing with games. Like I'm always checking up with my friends. Like, hey, do you guys want me to mute myself when I talk to chat? Do you like should I have like reduced alerts? And I'm always trying to find like that perfect medium. I am pretty bad at being a good boyfriend when I'm streaming. Like, so like if I try to stream Borderlands and I'm playing with Weenie and she's obviously off stream because she doesn't stream anymore, I am terrible at paying attention to her, paying attention to the game. I'm missing shit. And so like, I don't blame her. She doesn't prefer to play games like that on stream. And so like, I've learned to games like Borderlands, you know what, just play those off stream. Cause I don't want to like have her be the sacrifice for the content, right? Like I don't want to sacrifice the time that we game together just for the sake of content. So I've had to learn like, okay, like I'm not good at that type of content. Even with reduced alerts, just being live and having chat is a huge distraction. So, I can take that stuff. But again, it's a balancing game because like I fucking love streaming when Weenie's playing because we get along so well. She's fucking hilarious. Chat always loves Weenie. And but again, it's like, okay, I got to figure out how I can balance this well. And I just noticed that my camera is not fitting inside of my webcam box. So you guys are going to fill the air while I fix that.
Yeah. I think it depends. Like the best kind of games are like The Forest, where it's chill without much of an objective, right? You're just trying to build a base.
There still is an objective.
Yeah, there's like a greater objective.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do things like Borderlands. You have to be paying attention to a certain extent at all times, so you know what to do next. But also games like party games, like Knackers was playing. What is it called? Knackers, Roblox.
Yeah,
and I think that's also a great game. Like having a party game where everyone can play and they're just passively playing it.
Yep.
And people can kind of react and chat without it having to like having it needing you to needing you to respond.
Right.
I feel like I just completely lost my.
No, I was actually following, and that's this like that's how I feel with Roblox, and that's also how I feel with Rocket League. Like I know Rocket League is not a community favorite, but I love streaming Rocket League because I can play Rocket League for 6, 7, 8 hours. And the people who do enjoy hanging out for Rocket League, they have such a special place in my heart because like seeing people get hyped over dope goals and passes and awesome shit, I'm like, I'm feeling great. Chat's doing fucking great. I feel so fun. Like that's how I feel when I play Rocket League. I've always been afraid of being a full-time Rocket League streamer. But at this point, I'm just like, I'm trying what the fuck ever. But it's good to have those types of games where you don't have to be totally dedicated because you both can probably relate. There's sometimes where you're playing a game and it might be a game that you like streaming and you like playing, but it just doesn't encourage chat interaction. And so you're always looking at chat to try and come with like a topic that you can talk about. It's like, fuck. And then there's just games where it just creates that stuff organically. And it's just a super, super great game. And then there's other games where you don't even care what chat is saying because you're just having so much fun playing it.
That happens to me way too much. Like, I love games that like completely zone me out. You know what I mean? Like just where I'm like, I don't exist anymore and I am in that game. I cannot stream those.
You're like,
games.
oh fuck, I'm streaming.
yeah. Like literally like, oh right, I'm streaming as well. So that's where I struggle. Like that's kind of like my Rocket League. It's like I love playing playing Red Dead 2 again. I love that game. It's especially the way I play it, it's probably the most boring thing to watch. Like you can play Red Dead where you just like run into town, shoot everybody and goof around and fall off your horse and shit. But I like to like wake up, have a nice coffee at the camp, go stand by the cliff and watch the horizon. And people are like, what the hell are you doing? This is a video game. Go shoot some people. I'm like, no.
You're fully immersed. You're full immersed. Like, I feel like the one unspoken thing with streaming is, especially with variety streamers, is that you have to get used to the flow of chat interaction within the game, right? Like, I think a good example of this is like a guy like CDN the Third. I don't know if you guys watch his content.
I love CDN.
Love CDN. Did the guy? I used to watch him so much with H1Z1, but like that game, and like for me with Fortnite, like you play the game, you build a 1x1, and then I just wait and I have time to interact with chat. So chat knows when to expect me to interact. I think it's really tough for streamers, especially variety streamers, to find the flow within games to know when to break away to read chat, especially with games that they're not used to. Like you play Rocket League and you've streamed Rocket League for a long time, and chat now has like this expectation for you to read in between games, right? Like in between matches, and that's pretty much it. Like you might sneak something in here and there when you're going back for a turbo boost, but chat pretty much understands that. But I feel like if you're a variety streamer and like if I was playing something where I have a lot more time on my hands where I can look at chat every now and then the next week I'm streaming something where I'm like heavy focused in a game, like chat starts to be like, oh, what the fuck? Like he's no longer reading chat. And then they tend to leave. So like if I played Fortnite, like I know what the spacing is, I know what the timing is for interacting with chat. Chat understands that interaction and timing just based on how much they're getting a response. And then if I went and played Rocket League, during the match, I'm not going to focus on them at all. And then by the time you get to that period of time, and a lot of streamers struggle with this, but like you get to the time where you can focus on chat and then you look at it and there's nothing there. So you don't know to like, you're expecting to like have time to respond to everyone. And then chat's kind of dead because you haven't been interacting with them. So I think with most streamers in like it ties back to that multi-streaming thing is it's like everyone has to understand the flow of the game and the pacing of interacting with chat and playing the game, or else it takes away from like the content as a whole. And also like a big part of streaming is just chat interaction. So if you're not providing that to your stream, it becomes like you're just producing spectator perspective, like a YouTube video.
I actually really enjoy the pacing of not having to worry about looking at chat during a Rocket League game. Like kind of having those 6 to 7 minutes where I can strictly focus on the people that are in VoIP and the game is actually kind of, I don't want to say it's refreshing, but because like having things to reply to in chat is the breath of life when it comes to streaming. Like us as streamers are nothing without people talking in chat. But sometimes that can really fuck your head up. Like you can be so tied up in that mentality that it's like yanking the fun out of streaming. So having that time where like people know, okay, he's not in game, he's not expecting a response, and then you're not thinking, oh, I don't have to respond to anything because I'm focusing on the game and chat knows I'm focusing on the game. And that's kind of that's a nice change of pace every once in a while, because when you're trying to stream, especially when you hit a game that you're just all not that into, if it's like a single player game. I remember trying to stream The Outer Wilds, and that was just a chat killer. And that was just like a mood killer for me. It just it didn't flow right. And that's just the weird thing about streaming. Is a game could be perfectly fine, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that love Outer Wilds, and if I didn't stream playing it, I probably could have had a good time, but there's just some games that just don't stream all that well, or I'm just not that interesting.
I think it has to do with the game a lot of the times.
Like,
especially single player games. Like if you're coming into it as like a viewer and you have no idea what the story is, you have no idea what the background is, you don't know why this dude is spending 30 minutes picking up bushes and like trying to get berries and shit. Like you're not going to be interested. You know what I mean? So it's like, but on the other hand, those games are also great for people like I love single player RPG games. Those are like my favorite.
Yep.
But I watch ones that I've played, right? So like I'll go and watch I'll be like, I'm going to go see who's playing Fallout New Vegas, and I'll watch that, but I've played it. So it's like you get a little bit of both. You get people who have never played it and they're like, why the hell am I here? This isn't interesting to me. But then you also get people who are like, I've played this 50 times. It's my favorite game. Yeah. And they're talking about it. That's good, but that's also somewhat rare. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a little bit more rare. And it also can lead to like hardcore backseating. So it's like a little bit of both. There's
any Bethesda game on Twitch.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The nice thing for me, like, with like Bethesda games specifically, is that I've played most of them. So like when people come in and try and backseat me, like I just go, yeah, I know. Like, they can't backseat me because I know that shit. They're like, hey, by the way, if you get this perk, you can use this kind of weapon. I'm like, yeah, I know. You know, but if you're playing one of those games like fresh, it's like opening up the floodgates. Like people are immediately like, oh, let me help you. Let me do this. It's like, and sometimes it's like when I played Sekiro, I was like fine with backseating because that game doesn't tell you anything.
Right.
So it's like some games it works, but some games it's like, can you let me play? But I don't know. It's that balance.
When I play RPG games, I'm like a total React Andy. Like all that I want to do is like sit there and stare at the screen and like figure shit out. Like I can't play RPG games, I found out on stream, because I'm not really playing the game. Like I can play like Oblivion or Skyrim because I played through it, but like I can't play a game for the first time on stream because I'm basically just trying to find something interesting like within the space that I'm in. Like you'll look at the campfire and be like, oh, that's cool. What can I cook here? And like most people don't want to see you figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Right.
I figured that out, that I play very well. Sometimes it depends on the game. Sometimes I'm all playing the game fast and hard and shooting people and all that shit. But I like to like notice every little detail and that kind of shit. And some people are bored by it, but I just kind of like don't care. And I just like play how I'm going to play, because that's how I'm going to be the most entertaining, is if I play how I'm normally going to play. You know?
Dude, there is a market out there for the way that you play. Like there's people who love watching somebody dissect every part of an RPG. Like there's somebody that I met through Game with Gray at TwitchCon. His name is Charmed Barian or
told me about him,
he just does permadeath Skyrim. That's all he fucking does, and he loves it. His chat loves it. One of my all-time favorite and most triggering backseat gamers is, hi, my name is Knackers. We're starting Fallout 4 today. 10 minutes goes by. Hey, dude, do you want to find out where you can get the best gun in the game? You can one-shot everybody. It's like,
you can get the white horse that the build that everyone has is right here. You can build your character exactly as you should.
I can show you exactly how to get to the end game boss and one-shot him with this sword. No, I don't want to fucking do that. Why do I want the best gun in the game within the first hour?
Dude, S-Fund was streaming Knights of the Old Republic last night, and he was getting towards like the end of the game, and someone spoiled the game for him in chat.
I would literally I need to find that person and beat them up.
Yeah.
If I'd pick any game that I could replay and have that story be revealed to me again, that's the one. And fuck that guy who spoiled it.
I've never beat it. I've never been able to go back and beat it.
So it is very old at this point. And
right.
The combat and the gameplay is a little dated, but the story, probably one of my favorite Star Wars stories.
Okay.
Like beats the movies kind of deal.
All right.
Probably one of your favorite ones. Okay.
All right, well, it's only been 40 minutes, so let's get in some talking points, even though we kind of had our own little talking point baked in there. But sometimes PeePoo, snow pants, all misconstrued as overalls. Bishop, since you are in alphabetical order and you are above Knackers, I would love for you to talk about what you had thrown onto the script today.
Yeah, so with COVID and obviously a lot of delays in the real world, World of Warcraft Shadowlands was delayed. Casey let me know that Destiny 2 has an expansion that was delayed, and there's a few other games that in the pipeline that have been delayed. But we obviously know that this is because of COVID and because of the production slowdown and people working from home. So I'm pretty sure a majority of people are okay with these delays, but this could be like the first generation of games that is starting to delay the progress in potentially like polishing their games and making them good before they release them. Where like in the past, we've just been go, 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 go. And we've been getting AAA title after AAA title that on release is just like complete dog shit. Like GTA 5 on release, like the actual release, not on PC or PS4 or Xbox One, was like the worst game ever. Like it was like hot garbage. So what I'm wondering is, I guess there's two topics that we can kind of cover here. Delaying games, right? Like, are there any games that you've seen delayed or things that you've seen delayed surrounding the whole COVID thing? Are there any things that, like, how do you feel about that? Okay, are you guys okay? First of all, that's most important. But second of all, do you think that the delay of games is going to potentially bring out more of a quality product? Like, are you guys angry about it, or do you guys feel like it's going to be something that's, is it going to be a positive or a negative?
I think, I'd almost rather wait longer and have a more polished game. I'm really annoyed. I think everybody is. This is not like a hot take, but I think everybody is annoyed with the whole like release a game and it's 50% done and there's 1,000 bugs and all this shit. And I'm a little bit more okay with bugs, because I love Bethesda games. It's a feature, not a bug. Thank you very much.
Fair.
But more so like missing out on content. Like content wasn't put in the game. Like you always hear about games that like have like they only got 60% done with it and like half the content wasn't even put in. It's like I don't like that. The bugs will get smoothed out in a couple months. That's okay. I get it. Like you can't get it all right. But like when they skip out on content in order to release a game faster, that's dumb. You shouldn't do that.
I feel like I'm a bad gamer sometimes.
Okay, let's just skip over you.
Like I am not somebody. I'm a PC gamer. I only care about PC titles. I only care about the PC world. There's probably plenty of people out there that love Xbox and PlayStation and they love the Switch, and like they're constantly hounding all of these different game developer companies that are putting out these games, and they're always looking forward to these game releases. I do not pay attention to a game until it comes out. Am I excited for Cyberpunk? Yep. Absolutely. Am I going to play Star Citizen when it comes out in 2030? Totally. Yep. But I do not accumulate any hype or excitement for these games whatsoever. Because like Cyberpunk should have been out by now, right?
Right.
Like because it's been delayed multiple times. I'm not somebody who
also delayed.
Halo was delayed too. It's just there's no point in getting all worked up about a release of a game. I'll just worry about it when it comes out. All the hype, all the pre-ordering, all the speculation. Like I try not to speculate as much as possible, because I feel like the act of speculation is just empty content for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, we obviously spent a lot of time having fun speculating about the Dr. Disrespect thing. Like, a lot of us were all just sitting and watching like all of these articles that were coming out. And I agree, and I admit that I was sucked into that whole thing. But for the most part, I don't get tied up in it because of the internet, because of how fast information comes to us. I feel like it's almost as bad as just being involved in social media. We're trying to be involved in all of these things that are upcoming and all the hype and always waiting for the next best thing. It's fucking exhausting to pay attention to all this. There's so many games. There's so many game companies, all these different consoles. So I'm bad at being the person that's going to relay the most recent video game news to you. I care more about the tech than I do the games, because I feel like our culture is so overhyped. Like, streaming and gaming culture is so fucking overhyped. And I just don't like just being there, just like fucking waiting patiently for the next thing. I like focusing what's in front of me right then and there. I don't know which one of your two questions that answers.
I think that covers both. Yeah.
I definitely don't think I don't care when game companies delay games. Like, you don't know what you had before you had it. You don't know what you don't know. So it's like, what's it to me to wait? You know, I'm sure if there's somebody out there who's like, yeah, I'm being deployed, I'm not gonna be able to play games for 2 years. Yeah, I'm sure it fucking sucks that the game was delayed because you were expecting to play it. That's an extreme circumstance, but they're people, man, and they're working fucking overtime over and over and over again. Yeah. So it doesn't bug me one bit.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's like, what's the biggest drawback? Let's just use World of Warcraft Shadowlands, right? So World of Warcraft has had like 3 or 4 dog shit expansions in a row where like the community's like overwhelmingly like, okay, come on, like, can we not get this shit together? Like, you guys are just ruining the game.
Is that the stance right now?
Yeah, it's been every single patch. They've been okay, but they've been like, come on, like, to the extent where people are like, okay, just give us the original game again and we'll just play that because you guys keep fucking this up somehow. Like, they went to like, they added pandas into the game and now they have fox people, like these little furries and shit. And everyone's kind of playing the game like, okay, the original game was good. Why can't we fix that? And then they released Classic, last year, and that was great. But like, what do game developers lose by delaying? Right? Obviously income, but like, you're making like, let's look at it like a AAA title game. Like, you guys are going to make like $500 million off of this game. Like, is it really that bad to pay your staff for another 6 months? Like, Blizzard fired everyone. Was it last year? The year before? They fired fucking like half their staff because they wanted to make it seem like they made more money. Like, they had to like record profits, and they were like, oh, let's just let off half the staff from Overwatch and World of Warcraft. We're just going to fire a bunch of people because we've made so much money. It's like, why don't you, like, who gives a fuck if you make $500 million or $600 million? Like, obviously there's more profit, but like, why don't you just make a good fucking product for once? So I'm actually excited that maybe WoW will be good again. Like, if I play through another patch of WoW or another expansion that's just kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I'm probably going to get to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm done. Like, I'm done for good now. Like, I'm just don't really feel like playing. Like, this I have invested like
every WoW player ever.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, after the first few expansions, WoW players were like, okay, guys. Like, I actually quit after the 3rd expansion because the 4th one was terrible, and then I missed the 5th one. Came back for the 6th one, played it for like 6 months, stopped playing it. 7th one, which is the previous one, I think these numbers are working out, I played on and off, like diving into it, coming out of it. But I'm like, I just want this to be good, and everyone kind of feels the same way. So I'm like, all right, this is the time. It's kind of like in a relationship where like you're like, okay, this is my last straw, and then like five times of being cheated on later, you're like, this is my last straw, motherfucker.
Dude, I relate to that so hard because my fucking first girlfriend cheated on me like 4 times. But
I'm really sorry about that, by the way. I didn't know that you guys were dating. So.
It's all good. I found out about them, like, the first one happened 6 months in, but I didn't find out about it until after 3 years. Like, and then I found out about the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one.
Yeah, you're pretty much playing World of Warcraft. You're wasting your life doing menial tasks for one thing that's not giving back to you.
Right.
And meanwhile, they're putting all their effort into Overwatch esports. So.
Fair. Yeah, I feel like I'm very, very lucky because one of the games that I fell in love with, Rocket League, has not changed fundamentally throughout its entirety. So like I can go back to it at any time and have the same exact value of fun. Like I can have the same amount of fun that I did back in the day. But that doesn't happen. Like if I was to ask somebody who played Destiny 2, like, hey, is Destiny 2 the same as when you first started playing it, or World of Warcraft? You know,
Destiny 2 isn't the same since I started playing it 3 months ago.
right. Like they're just off the cuff, changing shit left and right. So I feel there's probably a lot of people that could say Rocket League hasn't fucking changed in 5 years. And it's crazy to say that I've been playing Rocket League for 5 years. And I won't announce my rank because that would be embarrassing. But yeah, it's definitely super, super interesting to think about how a game, like how much is too much change for a video game. Like you want to be able to add new things, but at the same time, you're also fucking with nostalgia. And I don't know of any other group of people in the world that feed on nostalgia more than gamers do.
Religious people.
That too. Yeah, they've got textbook nostalgia.
And they love their book, dude.
I would say long-running shows too.
Oh yeah, like The Office or
yeah. Fucking Saber, dude. Fuck the whole thing up, dude.
I'm just about to get to that episode.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
Can I add one more subject in? I know that's kind of the end of my one talking point I added.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up for this one, Chet. I'm going to head to the back of my room.
Standing up.
Because we need to talk about something. How the fuck is it that NVIDIA, an AI company, can release 2 graphics cards and have them all purchased by bots and AI, and they don't protect that?
I did not know.
Okay, Knackers is getting up.
Am I supposed to stand?
Yeah, stand
Yeah,
up.
you need to stand.
Show me
Okay,
your
we're
belly
getting
button.
up. We're standing against NVIDIA.
That you have a fucking point there, bro.
This is some dog shit.
This is some fucking bullshit.
I don't know. I didn't know. But I'll stand with you. Wow.
Do you want me to cap that off with an explanation quick, or do you want to hop right in?
I would like to hop right in and
Okay.
say I think that NVIDIA understands the impact that faux scarcity has on gamers and tech heads. Like, this is huge within the keyboard enthusiast community of having these boards and these key sets and these keycaps that are all limited run, group buy now, they're going to be gone forever. I fucking think that they cashed in on that big time, which is odd to me because the cards are amazing. Like, they are fucking powerful cards for a really good price. I don't think you needed to bank on that. And that's not necessarily saying that they did for sure. But a technology company that specializes in AI couldn't combat that.
Dude, have you tried buying a card on NVIDIA yet? Like one of the 3080s?
I did not know that the NVIDIA website sold GPUs until the 3080s and 3090s came out.
It's because you can't buy them unless they're in stock. There's no button to purchase unless they're in stock. And what's annoying, like here, I'll go through it right now. When you go to NVIDIA's website, you go to the card, and then it says check. There's a check availability. So you click that button, and then it shows you a bunch of different versions of that card. So like Zotac, EVGA, the Founders Edition card, and then you click on a button that says check stock or something like that, and it brings you back to the original page. So it's basically a loophole of you can't ever push a button that says buy. Like there's no button that ever says buy. It just sends you back to the original page. And what's even crazier is that Newegg, every time that they have new stock that's put in, their website goes down because people are just fucking like pummeling on top of it to purchase these carts. I've had a 3080 and a 3090 in my cart now 4 times. And by the time I click checkout to purchase it, it brings me into an error page. Like from the point that I go to the page, click add to cart, right? It adds to my cart and I click checkout. They're all sold out, and they're taking them out of people's carts to sell them to the other people trying to buy them. And then the people that buy them are putting them on eBay for like $6,000. And it's just like, what is this fucking Supreme, bro? Here he goes.
Fuck Newegg. That's all I have to say. Fuck Newegg in the belly button. I want you to stretch that thing. I want you to take your penis and put it inside the umbilical cord that is still on the inside of your belly button. Get it stuck there. So it's like, you know that thing Jimmy Fallon had where his ring got caught on his finger and it all cut off all the circulation? I want that to happen to your penis, Newegg, because you fucking suck.
How don't they have... Okay, the company I work for that's small has DDoS protection. So like protects like an extreme amount of people going to a web page. Newegg doesn't have that.
Right.
Like no one that's selling these NVIDIA cards, like all of these websites are crashing. B&H, like they actually implemented a thing that checks your browser to make sure it's not a bot. But B&H is the only one that's done it. But like Newegg has been literally their whole website. Like you can't even get on Newegg.com. The whole thing is just gone. Like it just sends you to a 404 error page.
B&H is the Jeff Goldblum of technology websites. They are the national treasure that you just do not fucking question. You ever talk shit about Jeff Goldblum or Jeff Goldblum, whatever his last name is, you talk shit, get hit.
Yeah. Dude, B&H, if you need camera equipment, lenses, their prices aren't... Their prices aren't... They're great. Like, they're really, really competitive. You might be able to find some stuff cheaper on different websites like Amazon. Your shipping might be faster on Amazon. But B&H is like the tits when it comes to support, like
and customer service.
Ooh, and they don't sell dog shit. Like Amazon, you can look up like LED light panels and find every fucking Chinese ripoff brand in the world, and you have like 1,000 choices to select. If you go to B&H and look at batteries, like you're getting like all the best shit. You know what I mean?
And when you click on a product on B&H, the reviews are for that product, not the other 7 products that Amazon page lists. Yep. The thing that always fucking makes me laugh is the titles of products on Amazon, where it's literally like YouTube tags, but for the title of the product. LED light, RGB, all colors, very
Circle
bright.
light. Yeah.
Dude, their pictures on Amazon are about to be like clickbait. Like they're about to be like have like another picture like buy this car $5,000. It's a Lamborghini Gallardo with a guy like opening his mouth and pointing at it all excited.
Yep.
And then you click on it and it's like some used fucking Celica and you're just like, okay, fuck, dude.
Fucking Celicas, dude. I'm gonna pee, and then when we get back, I'd love to jump in. You're all good with your topics, right?
In a cup.
Yeah,
No.
pee in a
Pee
cup
cup?
and throw it out the window.
Pee cup.
Yeah, I'm good. I think we've covered everything on my topics. We could Connor and I we'll just chat it up, you know.
Make sure you stand up, okay?
We'll just
We're gonna stand up.
yeah, make sure everyone's standing. So Connor, yourself, just you're in on this website on the Twitch. You video on people. Tell me about that life. Like, how did you find Twitch?
How did I find Twitch? I think I like first bought an Xbox or something like that, and it was just like on the homepage. It was before Mixer was a thing. It's now not a thing. That's how long I've known about Twitch. It was just like on one of the like buttons, and I watched it, and yeah, I like did a couple streams off my Xbox first because like I don't know, I immediately when I heard about it was like my first thought wasn't, oh, this would be something fun that I could watch. My first thought was, okay, cool, this is something that I can do. Like that was my first thought. Yeah. But I didn't really have any of the equipment, and I was busy. I was in college, and then I had a job over the summer. So I really started it after the summer and started streaming. And actually, somebody who just said something in chat Nichols777 is been doing it kind of with me this entire time. He's my friend who comes on almost every week, every Wednesday. He's the guy who does the CSPN stuff. And that was kind of like
talk about CSPN. That shit's legit, dude.
That was like my original plan was I wanted to stream and have it be like a group thing where like I could have my friends come on and we could do like all sorts of things. We could do fake radio shows. We could do fake game shows. We could do whatever we want because I just thought this is like a perfect platform to just like I knew it was like a very heavily video game platform, but I wanted it to just be like a platform for if I had an idea to do something funny, I'd just go and do it on Twitch or whatever. And so
less scripting required than something like YouTube. Like the one thing that always kept me from YouTube is like I had a general idea of what I wanted to do, but I never executed on it. Where like Twitch is just like, okay, go live and see what happens.
Exactly. And I didn't, and this is before I knew like kind of the etiquette or like the way that Twitch is, you know what I mean? Like I just was like, oh, I'm just going to go on and do whatever, you know what I mean? And it was perfect. Like me and Travis have been doing stuff like this since we were in high school. Like we used to sit and record like just audio tapes of us like acting out these things. Like it was just like all audio, so we could just like do whatever the fuck we wanted. You know what I mean? Like we'd just be like, we're in a restaurant doing whatever the fuck we want, and like we just love like being funny and that kind of thing. So like I was like, oh, perfect. Now I can do this on Twitch, and people might stop by and whatnot. Obviously I can't always do it with other people, but that's like always my goal is to try and have other people be involved because I just have more fun when I'm playing with other or not playing with it, but like
working
doing
off of other people.
So like whatever it is, whether it's CSPN, which is like really fun, or like we do a radio show sometimes where we'll have somebody sit off camera, and it's kind of like along the lines of like our audio tapes where like we'll have two people be the host and then somebody's off camera pretending they're like some person on the phone doing whatever the hell they want, they're a character or whatever. We just come up with whatever the fuck we want to do that day and we just do it. And that's those streams are like I like playing games by myself. I like playing RPGs and hanging out with people. Those are like laid back, but like if I could and like it was a guaranteed thing that it would be like a good successful stream every single time and I didn't have to worry about like, oh, so and so's schedule doesn't line up, I would do those every day, hands down, no questions asked.
Keep doing them, man, because they're fucking great. I love watching them.
Yeah, those are like my favorite ones to do. Like I like streaming by myself, but like I've always been one to like want to just be like balls to the wall goofy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like very good at like being like somebody to, I don't want to say somebody to talk to, but like I'm not like I don't like have interesting thoughts or ideas. I mean, maybe I do, but
like
I don't think
philosophical kind of.
Yeah, like I don't really have anything new to say about shit. So if somebody comes into the chat and is like, "Oh, what do you think about this?" I'm like, I don't know, but like
I heard about that.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, I heard about that.
Nice, man. Yeah, good
like,
topic.
But like for instance, it kind of goes back to like outside of Twitch. Like I've never ever been afraid of like public speaking or anything like that. Like I can go in front of 1,000 people, and if you tell me go up on that stage and do whatever you want, I'd be like, perfect, no fear whatsoever. But if you tell me, hey, Connor, you have to talk to this one person, by you and them by yourself, I'd be like, fuck, I'm done for.
Fuck it, dude. They're gonna look into my eyeballs. They're gonna know who I am.
I have trouble like not conversing because I can converse. Like I'm okay at that, I guess. But like I like being entertaining, I guess. So like, yeah, Twitch has been the way for me to kind of get that creative outlet where I just like always want to be goofy. I always want to be making people laugh. So that's just been like my go-to for the past 2 years or something.
That was about being a person to be able to sit down. That was really difficult for me to, because I wanted to be able to do that. Like if I'm sitting, like let's say I'm going to like my girlfriend's Thanksgiving or whatever. Like if the girlfriend and the mom go to do something, like they have to run to the grocery store, I want to be able to be a person that can sit there and have a conversation with anybody. As long as they're willing to have that conversation.
And I think I can do that. That's not like something that I'm talking about, but like at least in Twitch's aspect, like
right.
I'm very bad when it comes to like somebody coming in and like telling me something or like wanting to chat about something. Like I'm not good at that shit for the most part. I'm trying to like goof around and be funny and have people like talk about the funny shit that's happening kind of deal.
Gotcha. Okay. I distinctly remember having a conversation about the podcast with Middle Age Stream in my backyard. And I had hit a point where it was becoming so routine and so bland. And I knew it, but wasn't admitting it. And then he brought it up and I was like, damn, no, yeah, you're fucking right. And that's when I decided to make some changes. I will never forget the first time that we did a Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast where I did not write a script at all. I just put like 2 or 3 talking points and that was it. And I used to be the guy that would write a 2-page script for Crocs and Hot Pockets with just news articles left and right, talking points, bullets, the whole deal. And I was so fucking terrified because I'm like, how am I supposed to carry a show for an hour and a half to 2 hours without having something to go off of? And what I ended up doing was just forcing myself to pay attention to the other person that was talking, because you don't have to think about things to talk about if you are actively listening to the other person. Like all three, I'm very, very confident that all three of us could just sit here. I mean, we went for the first like 40 or 50 minutes, of talking about poopy snow pants. But for anybody that's out there, that's like an aspiring podcaster.
That's a trigger word for me, by the way.
Snow pants?
Yeah, poopy snow pants.
My new jazz ensemble that I'm doing.
Poopy overalls. Just really trying to focus on listening to what the other person is saying. You can carry a conversation a long time. And to have a script that has some bullet points when the conversation finally does come to an end, because there's only so long that we can talk about poopy snow pants. You look over and you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to talk about, the most recent adpocalypse on Twitch, and that can carry you a super long time. But that was something I was not good at with Twitch when I first started, was just being able to organically create conversation. And I still don't think that I'm a pro at it. Especially when it comes to streaming video games. I think there's still a lot of times where I have dead air, just because I'm not focused on maintaining a chat conversation. But that's just kind of one of those things that you learn as time passes.
I think I'm like streaming the opposite. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Convo.
I was just going to say, I think I'm like the exact opposite. You could tell me, hey, like I took like a public speaking class, right? And if they said, hey, you can go up there and talk for 10 minutes and I wouldn't have written anything, I wouldn't have any thought about what I'm going to say, I would go up there and do fine. Because I just
really
I black out. I just black out and I just go. Like I just know, okay, I have to get in front of people. I have to either make them laugh, I have to make them think about something interesting, and I can just go. But if I have to write shit down, plan it out, nope. I'm out.
Really? That's super interesting.
The exact opposite. Like I can have like mental ideas or whatever, but yeah, I would never, like, if somebody said, hey, you have to go up in front of people for 20 minutes, but you have to write stuff down. Like, we want to know what you're going to talk about beforehand. I'd be like, sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I think that's not Twitch, how I operate.
For me, like, I always wanted to do something on YouTube, make some sort of content, but I never committed to doing that thing. And I think Twitch makes people better content creators because you just have to do something and then you're able to reflect on like what you were doing in that moment to see what you're good at. Like I have like chronic overthinking and chronic, like I'm a perfectionist. So anytime that I make animations or videos or anything like that, or any sort of content, like I hyper focus on shit. Like if I was a YouTuber, you would only see one video every like 6 months because I'd be like hyper focused on making it perfect. And I think what Twitch has made me realize is that not necessarily that people will listen to me regardless, or like they're interested in like they'll sit there while I ramble about stupid shit, but like I could just make it whatever the topic is or whatever it is, as long as it's there, people will enjoy it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like streaming is a great example of that. Like you don't have to speed run a game and be a literal god to get a ton of viewers. you could try to speed run and fail over and over and over again, and there will be a ton of people watching you because of the fact that you're fucking it up. And like I think that that's something that Twitch has shown us and live stream has shown us, is that you don't have to be perfect to be great. You know what I mean? Like you could be great while you're fucking everything up. Which is honestly just like the motto of my stream. Like it took like 9 hours to build a flat packed racing sim. Like it should have taken me like 45 minutes.
Still fun times though.
Yeah.
I definitely am with you on like some of the funniest stuff or stuff I'm most proud of is when I just like said, yeah, you know, fuck it. It's not perfect, but whatever. You know what I mean? Like whether it's a stream or a video or whatever, it's like, if you sit there and you nitpick it all the time, it's never going to be good. But like with streaming and with other things, it's like you just go and you just figure it out as you go. And I like doing that. Like I like that. Like it's my favorites. Yeah, some of my favorite streams were like I don't even know what game I'm gonna play, and I just get, you know what? I feel like streaming. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Who cares? Start stream. Let's go.
Yeah. See what fucking happens.
That's definitely been so I've been trying to focus on YouTube content recently, and writing scripts for YouTube has never been a way that I've done it, but I've sort of forced myself into writing scripts for it. Because I enjoy off the cuff speaking. But when it comes to, because the things that I'm focusing on are how-tos and tutorials and guides. When you when you don't have a script and you're mumbling, or you're just constantly going on and on and on, and there's no structure to what you're saying, people can get frustrated very, very easily. And what I've learned about myself that I didn't know was a thing, I'm really fucking good at reading a teleprompter and having it look natural. Yeah. I just recorded a video earlier this week. Technically, yes. It's nice. It's a pain.
Nice. You got that, Connor?
I didn't. I got it. What did you just do to me?
Because you said that you were good at reading a teleprompter and making it seem like you're not reading one. So I said, "Oh, you read a teleprompter."
He was trying to suck your ass a little bit.
Yeah, just
kind of like I thought it was a dig. Oh, wait,
you use a teleprompter? It's like you're like, oh, I'm wearing a girdle right now, and I'm like, wait, you're wearing a girdle? No way. Like acting like I don't know that you see it, but in a way that is positive. Like, no, that you look great.
Oh, no, that's more like if you have to ask the girl if she orgasmed or not. Like, oh, did you come? And they're like, no. I feel like that's more on that. I would like, you should be, oh, I thought you were wearing a girdle, not, oh, you're wearing a girdle. Because then if you're saying like, I thought you were wearing a girdle, that you're complimenting their natural state. But if you're complimenting,
it's kind of like, okay, with that logic, it's basically, you're saying like, if I was like, hey, or a girl told me, she's like, oh, I faked that orgasm. And I was like, wait, I thought you actually came.
But
you know what I mean?
I'm with Bishop on this.
I'm basically saying like, oh my God, I would have never known.
Exactly.
Because I'm a good faker? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay.
Like you're so good at reading. You're so good at what you're claiming that I don't even notice that you're that good at it. Right? Like I don't even notice that you're using a teleprompter because you're so good at using a teleprompter.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Let me rewind my thing. I missed where I'm. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, the whole social interaction thing, you're working on it, dude. Howie was just at my apartment for a week, and I'd probably talked to him like 6 times. Like I was like, oh my God, I don't like talking to anyone ever. Like I didn't realize how much of an introvert I turned into. But I love.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm such an introvert. I don't want to fucking talk to anybody. Apparently, but we hung out for a bit. He played the racing sim. He played some dirt. Dude, he's a good guy. I like Howie. He's good shit.
He was there for a week, and you talked to him 6 times.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
What? And it's not like you went to work. You were home the entire time.
Well, I had a bunch of work to do this week, which was like, not like super rare, but rarer than usual. So I just focused on that. Casey went out a bunch with them, so they were always like going places in Oregon. And I was just kind of like, I was like, what up, dude? What up, boy? And then we talked for like a few minutes, and then we're like, I went back to my computer. He just hung out on the couch, and then I was like, yeah, you want to play the racing sim? He's like, no, I think I'm gonna go to bed soon. I was like, okay.
Did you ask him if he orgasmed?
Yeah, he said that he had coomed every night. So I think I did my job, but he could be lying. He could be lying.
Fucking coomed.
Yeah, Howie's a good guy. That guy he's probably like one of the funniest people that I know. Easily.
I agree.
Just like always funny. It's actually hard sometimes to see if he's trying to be funny or he's faking. Or like,
yeah,
yeah, you can't tell if he's serious, is what I mean.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell if he's joking in the moment. And you're just like, hey, what?
Yeah, makes you think.
And he never breaks out of it. You know how like sometimes you're being sarcastic with a buddy. Howie never breaks character. He's always being sarcastic.
He's the David Blaine of sarcasm. He's always on. There's never an off moment.
Who's David Blaine? Is that like the Subway guy?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, he's in prison currently. Anyways, we have a couple other topics I wanted to touch on. The first one is kind of just a super, super quick thing that I wanted to go over because I love hearing about stats. And every streamer who's ever streamed has always thought that Commander Root was the devil. And he was always just in your channel, collecting your data, being a dick.
I thought he was my number one viewer.
He's also my number one viewer. But turns out he collects a lot of awesome data. Like in quarter 3 of 2020, there have been 10,200,000 users which streamed at least once. 31,000 or 0.3% were partners. 921,000 or 9% were affiliates. And then he said, and 9 million were plebs.
Wow, that's actually that is surprising.
Those are good stats.
So if you are a partner,
I thought there'd be more affiliates.
Well, I did too. If you're a partner, you are in the 0.3%. However, of those, in 2020 quarter 3, there are 48,000 partners. Only 31,000 went live in quarter 3, which is that is a third of all partners. And one of the first things that I thought was, and this is really dark, I wonder how many of them are no longer with us. Like with us. Deceased.
On Mixer. They were killed on Mixer. Mixer murdered them.
I should have laughed at that, but I did.
Part of the contract.
Yeah, that's on there forever.
No, I think Twitch partners that went to Mixer died. Like their channels died.
Yes,
that's
correct.
How it worked, yeah.
But then as a human, there's also times where I felt like, man, I wonder how many people have actually passed away. And some people probably know, other people probably don't know. Like the amount of people that disappear and never come back. And it's not because they stopped streaming. It's like, what if they actually passed away? So if you are a partner in 2020, you're in the 0.3%. If you are an affiliate, you are in the top 10%. Which is absolutely insane. And then the 90% of people that stream, 9 million people. That is 10%. Just this absolutely insane.
I'll take 10% on anything, to be fair.
Absolutely. 10%, that's some good shit right there.
Get from your subs, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's another interesting statistic. Quarter 3 is already over. Twitch currently has 1.3 million affiliates. There are 1,700 staff accounts, and there are 2,700,000 emotes on Twitch.
Jeez.
2.7 million emotes. So that's just some super interesting data that I always like seeing. If you guys like stats like that, just follow Commander Root on Twitter, and you'll see the stuff that he tweets out.
If you were you are a streamer, obviously, and like God forbid you died randomly, what would you want your chat? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a dead streamer, so I'm close.
Sorry, go ahead.
But what would you want your chat to know? Like they come to your channel after you've gone and you're past, you're gone forever. They come to your channel just to get a moment with you. What would you want to say to them?
Like, so I'm able to send a message from the afterlife?
Well, you're sending it to them now, right? Like this is the clip that they will watch when they remember you. And like 20 years from now, or in Jimmy's case, like how old is he? He's getting there.
Get that ass sucked. That's all I want. That's all I want to say.
Get that ass sucked. And
I think in a more logical sense, like if I could leave a message, if I knew that I was going to pass away, like would I say anything? Do you guys want a funeral?
No.
I mean, I don't know. that's what I would like to say to everybody is that's my entire motto. Is just
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I just don't want people to spend money on a funeral for me. Like, go on a cruise, guys. Like, have a good time, enjoy. Talk about me, hang out for a little bit. Buy yourself something that you really wanted, like something that can help you in your life, and that's it. Like, I think the idea of funerals is crazy, especially considering what a fucking scam they are. You know what I mean? Like,
I think the fact that we as human beings bury each other in designated parts of the world is the dumbest thing ever. And I'm sorry if that offends people, but what is the fucking point? Just burn us all and throw us in the wind. Like, imagine how full the Grand Canyon could be if we all just dumped our ashes there. Like, how awesome of a place that could be.
I want to be dumped in the ocean by Osama.
Bin Laden?
Yeah, but by the Navy. I want them on a boat to have my ashes and just throw me in there.
What the fuck?
I don't know. It could be not that he's gonna be there. Just it could be a nice place. You never know.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Or are you saying where they put Osama?
Yeah, because didn't they dump his ashes into the ocean?
I thought you meant you wanted your ashes dumped by Osama. I'm like, why the fuck would you want that? I was so off put by that. Hey, I want fucking Gamer Jesus to come in and resurrect Osama so that he can dump my ashes into the ocean.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. All right, so next up, super controversial topic that has broken streamer Twitter this week. Twitch no longer recognizing raids under 10 viewers. Da, 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 da. Get your pee-pee stuck in a belly button. So this is actually super interesting.
Is it 5 or 10? Is it 5 or 10?
I thought it was 5. I've heard 5.
I have not gotten a confirmation because we all know streamer Twitter is the most unreliable fucking part of the internet.
And that's why I don't follow any.
And people are so reactive. Like, everybody feels like they have to be the first to retweet, got to be the first to quote tweet. I just sit back and fucking watch. Like, I'll quote tweet things like when Twitch first announced the soundtrack of their new music licensing thing. I'm like, oh, okay, retweet. Let everybody know that this is the thing. And then you have the outrage afterwards. So a couple weeks.
MDs.
Oh
just
my God.
Everything.
It is the worst. A couple weeks back, there was a massive issue with streamers getting bot spam raided to where you would get thousands and thousands of raids. And if you don't know, when you get raided, there's a little message that pops up in chat. So-and-so is raiding you with so many people. Those bots were spamming so hard and so fast that streamers could not see any real people chatting. It would just go nonstop. And it was a big problem. And there hasn't been any confirmation on whether or not this is a fix for that. There is some screenshots floating around. What's that?
Temporary, maybe.
Could be temporary. Could be a bug. Twitch hasn't come out and said anything officially, except there are screenshots of an email, which I thought the screenshots of this support email were originally fake. The support email said it was like a response from Twitch staff that said, yes, you need more viewers in order for raids to be noticed. And my first thought was, who the fuck emailed Twitch support and got a response within a day? This is bullshit. This is fucking fake as shit. But apparently there's some other screenshots out there that make it look legitimate. But there was first of all, you have your outrage culture, right, of everybody losing their fucking mind, and then you have the virtue signaling culture where if you raid my stream, I will appreciate you. Communities of all sizes are appreciated by our community. So if you're going to raid somebody, raid me and I will notice.
Don't raid me.
Yeah,
please
don't
don't
want
raid
raids from those people. I'm good.
So
that's like the equivalent of going in someone else's chat and be like, hey, can I get a raid afterwards? It's just as cringy. It's like,
it is. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Virtue signaling is very strong within Twitch. Every time it seems that somebody makes a change, whether it's on Twitch's end or Streamlabs, there's somebody that's going, I don't like the change. And if you don't like the change, you can come hang out with us. Here's my Twitch. And of course, once those tweets blow up, what do you see down below? A reply with a Twitch link or a SoundCloud or something. It's like, fucking hell. You are so see-through. But did either of you see kind of this whole thing implode on Twitch this week?
Kind of. Yeah, like I honestly I have not been using Twitter. I mean, I still do, obviously, but I've tried. It's gotten to a point where I'm so annoyed with all of it that I just try not to like interact with anything. You know what I mean? I saw that it was a thing. It's one of those things where like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever. So my thing is that I've seen this happen. I've noticed that it's kind of a thing. I didn't know it was like, I thought it was just a bug at first. I think maybe a couple of us did like that. Like the kind of raids were kind of being buggy. That's what I thought. But for me, at least how I have my OBS set up, I have like an activity thing showing on my OBS. So it will still show up for me. Like it still pops up for me, but the alert on my screen won't happen. So I still know if somebody raids me, but it doesn't pop up on like my alert overlay. So I just go, oh, somebody raided me. Like I see it and I notice it. So for me, I guess it's like whatever, because I still see it and I'll still acknowledge you regardless. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think this is what this is. I saw a little bit of it. I think I usually tone out things like as soon as I see it. Like it's kind of like when Jimmy was telling you about the podcast, you finally came to a realization that you were like suppressing this pain. I think I do the same thing with Twitch on Twitter. Like I see people tweeting about shit and I just like shut off because I'm like, fuck them. You know, like it's just like, just a bunch of morons crying again. And then I just wait till it comes to fruition. I'm like, oh, okay, so that really wasn't that big of a deal. But what Twitch is doing is that they're removing, from what I understand, they're removing the tag that pops up in your chat. Any streamer that I know that's actually putting in any effort, like even 1% of an effort that isn't completely brain dead, is using Streamlabs or Stream Elements for their notifications. So you're going to know that you're getting rated. It's not going anywhere. You're going to be able to see that. Doesn't seem like a big deal. It's just within Twitch. So you're
saying that the overlay is because I haven't seen the overlay. What I see is I don't see the thing in chat anymore, right? And I also don't notice my like alert
to stream.
Going off.
So
but it shows you my activity.
Okay, so Streamlabs, I know that they have like parameters that you can set specifically based on how many viewers. Like
no, I have it set to 0 or whatever.
Okay, you have it set to 0. So I don't know specifically because I haven't tested it, but it seems like it's not really that big of a thing if Streamlabs can just find a workaround. Like if someone hosts you with 0 viewers, it's kind of irrelevant, right? Like it's doing nothing. Like the thought there is nice just because the person is like wanting to host you on their channel. But in reality, in reality, there's no value sentiment on either side. The more valuable thing is the fact that the person's in your chat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's like more of a thing that you should appreciate than the person hosting you to their channel that has 0 views on it, right?
I kind of when I like host somebody when I'm not like done streaming or whatever, like, you know, I just host for one viewer. In my head, it's like, all right, I'm watching somebody. I'm going to be hanging out in this chat for a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to host them in case anybody wants to hang out with
If anyone goes to your channel, then they're like, oh, hey, this is what Conbot's doing. So
that's my thought process when I host somebody with 1 viewer or whatever. Because I don't think it's ever 0. It's always like 1 because you have to go to your own channel and then it thinks
right.
One.
When I'm actively streaming, if I'm in a channel or a chat that I want other people to find me in, right? Or I'm like, hey, this guy's actually doing something really cool. I usually just either tweet it or put it on my Discord. Because like in most cases, I don't think, well, nowadays especially, I don't think anyone can actually view your channel when you're offline. But I feel like most people, if they search your name and they don't see that you're online, just in the Twitch search bar, if they're already on Twitch, I feel like they're not going to click on your channel anyway. Yeah. So the chance that translates over is pretty low.
They like the host thing is like, especially with how it is like back before they kind of updated the whole homepage thing. Like if you clicked on my name, it would whoever I was hosting would show up on that front page. But now you have to like go through like a couple like little screens or whatever, and it doesn't show that you're live. And if you want to see like who's hosting, you have to like click down a couple times. So it's just like one of those things where like, I don't know why I host. There's really no benefit for either person.
Right.
But it's just kind of like I'm going to be hanging out here.
It's like a tip of the hat. It's like, hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely sucks because I know what it's like to be that smaller streamer where you're getting in between 5 and 10 viewers, and you not only when you're that size are those raids monumental. Like when you're that size and you get a raid for 5 to 10 people, it's like, holy fuck, I think my viewership just doubled. It's fucking massive. And then being somebody, you want to be able to still give that love to somebody else. So I totally see why people are upset about it. However, they did need to do something to help with these hosts that were spamming all of these bigger creators and stuff. It just seems like the 5 or 10 viewer threshold was just a little bit too high. I got a raid 2 days ago. That was a party of 9, and that came through. And there was another raid that came in that was around the same, and that came through as well. I don't remember if it didn't come through chat. Do you use Streamlabs, Conbot?
Yes.
So when you got a raid recently and it was under that threshold, it didn't show up in Streamlabs either?
So it's like weird. It's like it didn't show up in chat, and the alert didn't go off because, right, my alert always, whatever it is down with the sickness, ooh, ah, 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 right?
Right.
And it's loud as hell. So I know when an alert goes off. I didn't hear the ooh, ah, ah, ah. I didn't see the chat, but on my little activity thing, it popped up.
Interesting. I do remember
so, like,
one person
is registering it, but they're not sending the alert either. It's weird.
Right.
Hey, I'm
so
gonna raid you right now with one viewer. Let me know
wait,
what happens.
Wait.
All right,
I gotta open up.
4, 3. Oh god. 2. Wait, I'm on standby. I'm ready.
Hold
Do
on. I gotta open up.
Do it.
Streamlabs.
Wait, are you rating Conbot or are you rating me?
Conbot.
Oh, well, fuck.
I don't have anything open, so it won't happen.
Okay, is it ready?
Hold on. Takes a couple seconds.
Looks like Knackers might be getting raided.
You can do Knackers if you want.
Is it ready?
Yeah, do Knackers. My oath got invalid.
Oh no, the tokens.
All right, dude. I'm rating Knackers. God damn it.
Oh, let's see what happens.
I missed it. Damn it.
I do.
One viewer raid, baby.
I do remember somebody saying that they rated and there was no alert, and I thought that was odd because that just doesn't happen.
I think
ready? Here comes the raid, baby.
All right, let me give it to me.
Oh, there's the raid. You just got raided. Bishop raid. Pog.
I think
I don't see a goddamn thing.
When it was, I think it's always been like, if it's just 1 or 0 people, I don't think the raid alert for host it does, but I think it's always been if you raid somebody with 0, then it doesn't show up.
Okay.
Like host it will show up, but raid it won't. But now it's like they upped the quota a little bit more or something like that.
Okay.
Huh. Okay. So you didn't get that on Streamlabs or anything?
I didn't see anything. Yep. Try doing a host, and I'll see if it pops up.
Host, I feel like host will show up.
Live
Like, that's
testing.
Already hosting.
Unhost me,
Already
bitch.
hosty, baby.
All right, Conbot, your turn.
I'll unhost. Wow, it's taking forever to update. What the fuck? That's weird. I've never seen that. I've never seen it where you click unhost and it goes updating ...
All right, chat. We're doing a Crocs and Hot Pockets watch party on my channel.
Yo, let's go. Everybody go over there. That's super interesting. So yeah, I guess there isn't a massive takeaway other than if you are somebody who pays attention to streamer Twitter or you're just somebody who keeps up with the news, please understand that there are so many people who they are just react Andes and they will misconstrue topics like these and it will get you worked up. Just wait for things to settle before you get all worked up, especially in Twitter where it's the easiest to raise your fucking blood pressure because of everybody that's there. Right. Because something could come out where it's like, oh, this was a Twitch bug because of a most recent thing. And all of those people that just spent all of that time whining and complaining and cussing people out, and it ended up all just being for nothing. So just be safe out there, okay? Next on the Twitch topic list, we have the Twitch soundtrack that was released by Twitch themselves, which is pretty much a failed attempt on the musician side for music licensing, but a step in the right direction for people that like to listen to music on Twitch. So right now, if you listen to music on Twitch, and it is not copyright-free music, your VODs or your clips are muted on Twitch. So you can play music live and it's totally fine. But as soon as that VOD goes to Twitch, and for people who want to watch it after the fact, your VOD gets muted when that copyright music is found. Same thing. If you try to export your VODs to YouTube and upload them there, YouTube's algorithm will see the copyrighted content and it will mute those as well. If companies decide, they can take it a step further and they can file a DMCA, a digital media containous. I can't remember the last two parts of it.
Cockaness, actually.
Claim what?
Asshole.
Asshole. They're claiming your buttholes.
They're claiming assholes.
Yeah. So they can get your channel banned. They can get your channel suspended until the copyright legalities are figured out in between parties. There are certain software, there's certain companies out there like Pretzel Rocks who they dedicate themselves to getting copyright-free music or Creative Commons licenses to play audio. So like Pretzel Rocks has a library of tens of thousands of songs where you can play copyright-free music. You don't get DMCA'd, you don't get copyright strikes, all that goodness. So Twitch came out with what?
The music sucks.
Some of it, I mean, you have to like electronic music.
I can't do it.
Yeah, those pretzels don't rock, dude.
When it comes to music, man, I am such a fucking, I don't know.
That's fair.
Diva about
Yeah.
it.
Okay, well, hold on. The guy that used to work for an NHL team, who they literally play like the same 5 songs that were in NHL 09 at the intro of every hockey game, dude.
Oh my god. So Twitch came out with their own music player called Soundtrack. And the cool thing about this in technology terms is that the audio is actually being outputted to Twitch in a separate audio channel. So that when that VOD is saved to Twitch, the music is not exported with it. So it pretty much leaves Twitch completely responsibility free in case somebody wanted to come through and throw a DMCA. Obviously, they're not going to because of the music is copyright free. After this dropped, Pretzel Rocks released a article basically saying this is a bunch of horseshit because the musicians are the ones that are getting hosed on the other end. They are not getting compensated properly for their music. They're not getting paid per play like they would be with Spotify. And it's basically a huge fucking slap in the face.
It's always been like that.
Always. So I'm going to read this little excerpt. Audio Geek, thank you. Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the most out of date piece of government literature that exists.
Most music stuff is.
Yeah. So this part of this article, and I'm going to post this article in chat in case anybody wants to go through and read it fully. The part of this article is called Twitch Soundtrack Plays Musicians with Exposure. Twitch Soundtrack is Twitch's largest effort to date to address the music problem on its platform. As with most Twitch services, they want to offer soundtrack free to their broadcasters. One way they could achieve this is to pay musicians to license their work, like Facebook Gaming. Instead, Twitch went the route of exposure. When you use Twitch Soundtrack as a broadcaster, you are required to give up screen real estate for the required attribution to the music. This attribution is the only compensation that the musician will receive for their music being used in the live stream. For this to be beneficial to the musician, viewers need to engage with this video overlay, save the track for later, and listen to it on a traditional streaming platform, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. Keep in mind, it takes 1,500 streams or spins to count as a single sale. So
it's like half a cent per stream, essentially. It's
dog shit.
Always, the music industry has always been fucking the artists. It's like the music side of it versus the business side of it are at exact opposites. It's always been like that. Like, ask, maybe not all, I'm sure there's some musicians that are like assholes about it, but ask any musician ever if they're like, let's say you're, I don't fucking know, some artist, right? And you click on somebody's stream and they're listening to your song. Your first reaction, I bet, is not going to be, oh, fuck this guy, I'm claiming him. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh shit, he likes my song. You know what I mean? That's how every musician, not every, 99% of musicians probably are, but the whole business side of it is completely different. And that's just how it is. It sucks.
So for playing music on a stream in today's world, you technically need 3 different licenses. You have to purchase 3 different licenses to do so. You need a master use license, you need a public performance license, and then you also need a synchronization license. So there's a lot of science and terminology behind a lot of those things, but one of the most important ones that seems to escape the brains of most content creators is the synchronization license, which basically means if you have it on this one platform, it can be used in another instance of your same content. So like if Twitch had a synchronization license, you could listen to the music live, and then when you listen to the VOD after the fact, the music would also be in the VOD. But that is currently not the case. I think that Twitch either pays for 1 of 3 or 2 of 3 of all of these licenses. They do not have synchronization licensing. And this is a huge issue. There was a massive DMCA apocalypse a little while ago. There's a lot of streamers who will record something on TikTok with a particular song or a particular sound, upload it on TikTok, export the video, and then upload it to Twitter. And then months or years later, they're getting DMCAs for that content that they put on Twitter and going like, oh my God, why am I getting DMCA'd? Not realizing you were licensed to use that music on TikTok. You were not licensed to put that music up on Twitter. And the same, if you were to make a YouTube compilation of your bestest TikToks and put it up on YouTube, you're going to get DMCA'd for all of that music that you use in those TikToks. So it's kind of nice because the release of something like this is starting to get people to pay attention to the licensing aspect of streaming and to make them realize if you guys are going to sit here and make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're going to have to play by the rules of everybody else. You can't just take this music, take this sound effect, take this video and use it for your content and make money off of it and expect to get away with it.
It's interesting for me because at least for me, for the most part, I think my last stream I was listening to music while I was streaming. But music for me is not background music for the most part. Like that's just not how my brain works. Like I am a musician, so when I'm listening to music, almost all my attention is on that music. So I don't really stream and play music. If you want to have background music, here's what you should do. At least this is what I've kind of done. Get yourself a Ableton 10 trial. It's like 150 days. I've been using it like this whole year. Get yourself a Splice subscription, which has millions of sounds and samples. Throw yourself together a couple songs and use that. I can literally like sit here and make like a background song using only Splice samples, right? And that's license free in like 5 minutes. It's so easy. Like maybe not for everybody, but like if you know how to use computers and you can put things in the line, like you can do it. Like I can make, like it's, if you want, like I get the thing is like some people are using it for like I get, let's say you're playing a pirate game and something funny happens and you play like My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of different. Where like that's like a joke, a meme. You know what I mean? Like memes. But like if you're just like wanting to have music as background, just like make your own really easily. You can spend a day and make like 20 songs if you want. They're not going to be like the best songs
amazing
ever,
right?
But they're going to be background music. They're going to be what you're making it for, kind of deal.
Or just buy it off of premiumbeat.com. There's a bunch of good music on there if you don't want to waste your time. Like if your content relies on music, then you should find a licensing. There's plenty of them out there. It's not like they're like you can make your own music, but it comes down to anything. It's like if you need overlays, you can make them. They might look like dog shit.
Yeah,
but you're gonna have to spend the time to get good at it. It's the same thing with music. I think it's just kind of like an ironic sort of thing because I think streamers and like in general, like no one really takes music seriously. We just have like this expectation that we should be allowed to use it. and it's like there's content creators on the other side that are getting screwed over, especially like it's rare that musicians make an extreme amount of money like Kanye West, right? Like you've got like a top 1% that's making a fuck ton of money.
It's very.
And I mean, if you're playing that music on your stream, you're kind of a moron anyways, because it's like, okay, dude, like you're gonna play like the top played song, Taylor Swift song on your stream. It's just a little bit weird.
Yep.
It's like you're not using your brain. It's not weird. It's just you're not thinking. But I feel like finding a workaround is what Twitch is trying to do instead of just finding a solution, right? Like a longer term solution. Like I like the idea of having an embedded, like if they're able to have multiple channels. I think Knackers, you may have tweeted about this, but if they're able to have multiple audio channels, like an audio bit rate is so much smaller than video. It is like nothing. Like we're talking about like kilobytes, like maybe like 20 kilobytes for your audio track playing through. If you could just have multiple tracks from OBS or some streaming software, the first one's your voice, right? The second one's music or whatever you're going to play. And then they just have that second track muted to anyone that doesn't have a Spotify subscription, right? Or they just have that second. It's a lot easier than I think that they're making it out to be, but it seems like they're making, like they just need some people that are going to use their brains, right? But then they also need people at the other company. So if they're going to work with someone like Spotify, they need someone that's going to also, have the capacity to think. But the other thing is for streamers, it's going to be a little bit weird. So if someone's like listening to music and bumping to it, it's going to be weird in the VOD if you're just like dancing and no sound. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's kind of the conversation that I got into with Kick Tripod was he was like, okay, well, if Twitch already has the ability to separate your audio into channels, why can't a streamer have their mic audio in one, their game audio in one, and their VoIP in one, and allow the audience member to adjust any of those the way that they want? And my question, not understanding how all of those calls work. So if you have a streamer with 15,000 viewers, what kind of communication needs to happen in between the viewers end and the Twitch servers to be able to adjust those volumes independently? Like, I've never known of any video player ever to have more than one volume slider.
Right. That's because they're not embedding multiple audio streams. But a good example of this would be different languages, right? So like if you're watching a Netflix video, they usually have different languages embedded in the exact same, like it's not in the video feed per se, but they're able to play it simultaneously to you. They're able to already do that. So I don't think it's that complicated of a thing, but I think they just have to design it. But really, how hard would that be? If they just partnered with Spotify, every single viewer that's watching that streamer, say a song plays, and then every single viewer that's in there that has the audio on, they're already able to count viewers based on who's watching. Like if you have a stream muted, you don't count as a viewer in the chat. Or not in the chat. You don't count as a viewer if you have the stream like completely muted.
Correct.
So they could just be like, okay, anyone that has the audio playing, they have to have a Spotify account to hear the music. And if they hear it playing, that counts as a view. And then it actually helps the content creators.
Kind of like how like watch parties are with Amazon.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I agree with that.
Because it doesn't steal away from the experience if someone's not playing music. Right. Like if someone's music someone's content, like a streamer's content is reliant on the music that's playing. Like you use Sea of Thieves as an example. Like if they're playing like Jack Sparrow's like chase music from Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Like that is adding a layer of content or like entertainment value to the stream. And without it, it's less valuable. Exactly. Right. But if the viewers, like if I'm a viewer, like how much is Spotify? Like $15 a month? Like
10.
That's realistically $10 a month. That's realistically not that much money to spend on a subscription
for all the music ever.
Right. For all the music that you could ever want. And then beyond that, like most people that I know that pay for subscriptions or that have like a 9-to-5 type of job where they're not making a ton of money. Most of those people have Spotify already because it's like they sit at work all day listening to music. They on the way to the school, like on the way to the to work, they're on a bus or in their car. They're listening to music or the radio. Most people are already used to paying for it. So I don't know. Maybe that's a perk of maybe Amazon Music comes in somewhere here, and that's a perk of your Prime situation, or like using Prime or using Turbo. I don't think it's that complicated, but I think that Twitch isn't doing anything because there's really not that much pressure, right? Like people have been ripping off music for decades, right? Like look at YouTube. Like I guarantee you all three of us have uploaded a video on YouTube that's gotten DMCA'd or like had the audio track muted for uploading a song or like a portion of a song.
Dude, when I export my VODs to YouTube nowadays, even the alerts that have sound effects of songs, if they're 3-4 seconds, the whole video is getting taken.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of these platforms
have been taken. Oh man,
you lost tens of dollars in revenue,
dude.
Dude,
That ad revenue, that sweet ad revenue.
But like at the same time, I feel like they're not putting effort into fixing it because like UMG like and the big companies that own a majority of the music in the world, like they're pressuring people, but they're making a lot of money on these lawsuits, right? So they're not putting enough pressure on Twitch where Twitch has to come up with a solution, because one solution is for no expense. Yeah, zero money. Zero music. And if you play music, then you get banned. They don't want to do that. But also like imagine hiring a bunch of developers to put together this software that we're talking about, where like you can have multiple tracks in a video source. I mean, that's going to cost some money. It's not overly complicated, but I don't think it's been done. But I'm sure that I could go on LinkedIn right now and find a guy that's done it. Yeah, it's not like this is going to Mars. You know what I mean? This isn't that complicated.
See, and that's what makes me to believe that it is, because it's never been done before. Like I said, I've never seen a video player that has had so you brought up the Netflix thing with the other languages, but those are all pre-recorded files that are just sitting somewhere, right? Whereas the audio that a streamer has is live being sent somewhere. So all of those channels have to be individually sent live to an ingest server, and they all have to be distributed from there to the end user. Now, the way that Kick Tripod explained it was that any volume adjustments are only done client side. Like it's all stuff that happens on your end. But what happens when you give a user 4 different audio sliders? Like what happens to the end user experience? And when like one of my questions to him was, okay, so how much we have here on Twitch, we only have 160 kilobits per second of audio bit rate. Do you cap your first channel at a certain rate? Do you let it be dynamic to where depending on what's playing in what channel, you allow more audio? How much of your total bandwidth to Twitch do you dedicate to just audio, and how much is separated to each individual channel?
Yeah, I think that the problem with that thinking is that audio is a nothing burger when it comes to a codec, right? Like embedding audio, the challenge is syncing the audio to the video. Like that's the hardest thing to do. Streaming audio is probably the easiest thing that there is to do on this. Because realistically, you need a new codec or some new sort of file system, we'll call it, for streaming. So then you can have multiple channels that are embedded in that video. But ultimately, in a video file, you have video data and you have audio data, and then you have something that is syncing it, right? So the playback, because there's 2 things that are happening. You're watching a video that's a file. Ultimately, you're receiving packets of that file, and you're hearing part of it based on the decoder that's on your computer, so the player. So all that you would need is a different codec that allows for multiple syncs of multiple audio tracks, and then you would also need a player that allows you to adjust those audio sources. But we're talking about something that isn't like audio. It has been mastered for decades. Like this has been here, done that. Like the bit rate hasn't really changed a lot in the past 20 years. Like when you compare it, or 10 years, when you compare it to video, like video has blown up over the years in scale and quality. Like it's much harder to encode a 720p video than it is to encode, a 188 kilobyte audio bit. You know what I mean? Like it's a much different, and you can just look at it in file sizes, right?
Right.
So I think when it comes to streaming, one thing that you could look at, I don't know if OBS spits this out, but you could look at how much of the encoding how much of the encoding in your video or in your output is being dedicated to the audio and how much is being dedicated to the video?
Well, the audio max is 160.
Okay.
I know that much. Whether or not that's all dedicated to audio at any point, I don't know for sure.
So what is your bit rate of your video output?
Like me personally, or just the one that Twitch accepts?
Yeah, that's fine. Just whatever you have.
8,000 allegedly.
So you're at 8,000. So scale back to 7,000, right? And then dedicate that 7,000, that pipeline, to audio, and you could add in 10 channels of audio or 5 channels of audio at the current bit rate.
But if it was that easy, why doesn't Twitch already allow?
Because they don't need
three.
it.
Yeah.
Name one type of content that would need multiple audio sliders.
No, not just cases. Multiple, but why wouldn't they allow like regular iTunes or Spotify playback, which is anywhere from 192 to 320 kilobits per second? Why don't they already just allow that now?
It's not Twitch, it's Spotify.
Not them.
It's because Spotify's working with someone like UMG that's giving them regulations of what they're capable of doing, like how much we expect per play. And then Spotify has rules to distribute that content. And that would be like a third level of distribution. So you would have to go, it stems all the way from the top. And UMG doesn't need to change their business because they're fucking killing the game, right?
But what does that have to do with Twitch's audio bitrate cap?
So Twitch's audio bitrate cap is probably dependent on, I mean, it's dependent on what is necessary, right? Like the necessity of having a 10K or 7,000 bitrate fucking audio track is irrelevant, right? Like in most cases, most people don't even have audio hardware to decode that. Like your headset max is what is it capable of playing back in an audio file?
I thought Windows had all the way up to 320. Like I thought that was just like not all audio is ever played back at that, but
right. I don't think that it's necessary, right? So like they're at a point where audio sounds great, right? It can get better, but it's like why doesn't Twitch let you? I mean, 4K streaming has been a thing for the past 5-6 years. Why doesn't Twitch let you stream in 4K? Because
right.
There's not a necessity for it,
right? And
so I think it's the same thing with audio.
Yeah,
but if we had multiple tracks, would we have multiple 160 kilobit per second tracks, or would we have a total of 160 with mic audio being a quarter, game audio being a quarter? Because they would all sound significantly shittier at 30 kilobits per second for each audio track.
If I was a programmer, I mean, the problem is that you'd have to design some new codec to be able to make this thing work, right? Because it would need to be able to support one video stream and 2 audio streams, right?
Right, because everything right now is one video, one audio.
One audio, right? Yeah. And it's like I said, synchronizing is the hardest thing with audio and video. Like getting it to be synchronized is the most challenging thing. So doing that across three separate streams that don't like. You have your video, which video and audio is really hard to sync unless you visually comparing it. But the third channel or the second channel of audio wouldn't have anything that would cue it with the first channel unless there was something in the codec that it was looking for, like a trace or something along those lines, where the software knows how to decode it and sync the audio and the video, or the audio in the other audio track and then the video track. But that would be something that would need to be designed. So that your question about like, would it have to fit into the, like, let's say you have a 100 kilobits of bandwidth, then they would, if your bandwidth only allows for 100 kilobits, then yes, you would have to decide like, okay, this one's going to be 70 and this other one's going to be 30 for your 2 different audio tracks. But in most cases, it's so menial that they would just be like, okay, we'll just add another track that's 144 bit, or I don't know what the exact audio terminology is, but it would make more sense to add another channel than to just like reduce, like to split the other audio channel, because it's compared to the video encoding, like the amount of bandwidth that the video is using,
right?
The audio is menial.
I get what you're saying. So yeah, like the difference between 7,000 kilobits per second for video and 6,820 kilobits per second for video to add another audio. I got what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. That for some reason went over my head the first time you said it.
I think it was me describing it, and I came back to it at the very end. So that's what I mean is like you have X amount of bandwidth that you can utilize. and there's X amount of bandwidth that Twitch wants to accept because they don't want every fucking every the 2 million streamers that they have all being like, oh, okay, I've got 2 viewers, I can get 50 viewers if I stream in 6K, because you know that's going to happen, right?
Right.
Like, oh, I don't have as many Ks as the next guy, so everyone's streaming 8K and just blowing up Twitch's servers. Like adding the extra audio channel would just really come down to, first of all, permissions, right? Getting that worked out between Spotify and Twitch, and then also going to the music owners like UMG, and then working back and forth with them, and then making that work, which would like the political side of that would just be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
But building the codec and the video, I don't think it's that complicated. I've worked in codecs for a really long time, and I've seen how far they've come. I think the difference between like where we were when 720 video playback, when like designing the first players back in the day, like that was a huge leap. But now we're able to play 4K video out on YouTube without a problem. I think that adding an extra audio source wouldn't be that complicated.
Right. And it's definitely, I want to talk to I wish I could have this conversation with somebody that works on this stuff specifically to just be able to get informed about it. Because there's a lot of stuff that I just don't fucking understand and is way over my head. And I know that there's just a lot of people out there, especially in the Twitch world, where it's like, okay, you don't necessarily need to prove to us why what you're doing is right or wrong. We just want to understand why you did it so that we can just form our own opinions, right? Like, we just want to know why and how you did something so that we can go from there.
There's a company that I've been familiar with for a few years. I just Googled it, called Bright Cove and Uyala. And they were separate companies back in the day, but the company that I used to work for when I graduated high school, we were competing with these guys, and they have a whole write-up on multiple audio streams within video. So I wonder if they I'm assuming that people it's kind of like they haven't found the need or the desire within companies to purchase this sort of technology. So they're able to do it, but it's like, okay, why would we we're not going to put it out. Like if people don't want to go 200 miles an hour in a race car, there's no point on building a car that can go 200 miles an hour. They're working within what the desire and the demand is, because there's no reason for Twitch to buy something like a codec and a player that's capable of doing these things if there's really no demand for them to do that thing. Right?
Sure. And I think and I just happened to see what Sandra said in chat. There's a certain art to streaming. And if we were to give people the opportunity, or the ability rather, to just remove parts of the art that was coming in, it would be odd. It's like, hey, I want this painting, but I only want 4 out of the 7 colors that you use because I don't really like these other colors.
I want the Mona Lisa without the background or without the person in it.
Right. I want a Mona Lisa, but I'm into blondes. So can you just change it up a little bit, just have it be blonde? Like, there's a huge part to that conversation as well. And I'm a wholehearted believer of that. Like, I think, what if somebody went into a Future Man gaming stream or a Sushi Dragon stream and just started removing parts of the audio and being like, okay, well, you're not ingesting the art the way that it's supposed to be. Like, you're removing parts of it before it even gets to you. Like, oh, I don't like the bass drum that Flex Pavilion used on this track. I want to use this other bass and this other snare.
Yeah. I guess the control would also have to be in the producer's side, right? Because your audio levels are really important when you're streaming. So you don't want your music just blaring while you're trying to talk. So I think that you would have to have the control of the volume level of the music be controlled by the producer, unless someone wanted to reduce it, right? The idea would be you have the capacity to reduce the sound that's coming from one channel or the other, but not increase it, if that makes sense. So
interesting.
So you could drop the music, because I know Soda Poppin talked about this on one of his streams a few months ago, but he was basically saying, he's like, yeah, sometimes I turn on music and I play some music and I literally watch my viewership drop out because people don't want to listen to the music. They just want to listen to me because they're probably playing something or they're listening to their own music. So I think that you'd have to have it, this is more intuitive, but you'd have to have some sort of control as well from the the producer side, because like imagine how weird this stream would be if we were playing Spotify music on the bottom of it and someone just dropped our voices out completely. So like the produced sound that you put together, desktop gameplay, your voice, and they just drag that out.
They're just
And
listening to Chocolate Rain for 2.5 hours straight.
And then imagine beyond that, how many fucking people, like, because you have to think of the user, who's going to use this thing. How many people in chat would come into your chat and be like, whoa, your music is way too loud, or hey, your mic is way too loud, when that's something that they could just change themselves, right? Like people would request that from the streamer and not do it themselves, unless it was something that they were educated on, and that would take time. But it says that there's a thing called Exo Player, which is an HLS audio or video codec or a player, that allows you to do multiple audio streams. So apparently it already exists. It's just no one needs it.
Just implementation.
Yeah.
Okay. Word. Any final points on that before we get to the Q&A?
No.
Doom, doom, do, do, do. I'm just making noises with my mouth until I can find
music. Be crazy, boys.
Music's fucking nuts. God, 2020 musicians still getting fucked in the ass by a belly button
even
penis.
More so.
God damn it. We'll get there one day.
Touring and that was like the number one way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, nope.
Yeah. If Twitch knows whether you're muting the stream or not as a viewer, you can fucking count how many people are listening to the stream and license the music and pay the musicians accordingly. You fucking penis poops. All right. Anyways, Q&A. First question. This is for Conbot. What is it like to wake up, look in the mirror, and think, I am Jon Snow?
I never really think that. I've never seen Game of Thrones, so that doesn't really.
You're not missing anything.
I talked about this the other night. I can't do shows that are like
boring,
more than like 20 minutes. Well, yeah, but like just
garbage.
Like long shows. I can't, even if it's good, right? Like even if I like it, like I watched Westworld and I loved it, but like those episodes are real long, and I just like do not have the attention span for it. So yeah, I don't think that when I wake up.
Hey, I have a quick question off of that. So you're playing Red Dead Redemption, right? Mm-hmm. Have you watched Westworld and then kind of gone into Red Dead with the idea that you're like in the same universe?
Yes.
Oh, it's so cool.
When I first watched Westworld, I re-downloaded Red Dead and like played it because I was I need to rewatch Westworld so I can play Red Dead again. You know what I mean? Because then I have like this idea that they're like synths or whatever, and then it seems more interesting. I don't know. I made the other night while I had some vitamins. I made a playlist specifically for playing Red Dead. I put like a bunch of cowboy ass music, and like a couple of them were from Westworld. Like I put the.
Oh, you're getting sued, dude.
Well, not just when I'm playing by myself.
I'm kidding.
The Paint It Black, but the Westworld version.
Oh yes, such a good song.
Like riding down the trail on Red Dead and listen to that shit. That's the move.
I'm gonna listen to that right now. Viewers, if you navigate down to the audio bar, you can also listen along.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what it is, but like that idea that like I don't know, just like that. It's like a meta game in your mind. I was doing that when I played Red Dead, but I need to watch Westworld again to get back in that. But I
haven't finished it. That's
really?
The problem. Like I loved the first season. Second season, I couldn't do it because I was like, all right, I still got
titties.
I still got 10 more episodes of this season and another season, and they're all 40 minutes long. Like, I really like shows. I'm completely derailing this. It was just a joke question anyway. So like,
it's all good.
I think the next one's from Middle Age Stream. So fuck them. Let's just keep derailing.
It's actually from Dover, but
I love shows that are like contained, either shows or seasons. Like Black Mirror. I love that. Like each episode is with a similar theme, or like a season like Fargo,
Rick and Morty, or something like that. Where it's like regardless of what happens at the end, it's not like a continuation of the story, but it resets.
I don't need to like keep up with it. You know, like I don't like keeping up. I want either the season of like 10 episodes or the one episode to be a contained thing, and then end it. God damn it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need a sequel. You don't need a prequel. Like,
So
have it be that.
I'm also somebody who I don't watch TV shows. I don't watch movies a lot. But I'm sort of biased to where, like, today, I might have scrolled TikTok for an hour, maybe even like an hour and a half, but I won't sit down and watch a movie. And I think there's, like you said, Conbot, there's this weird, like, if I start a movie, it's an hour. Like, when I look at TikTok, I can look at TikTok and then end in 10 minutes. But if I know that I'm going into a movie, I know it's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours of my day. My girlfriend's trying to get me to watch Battlestar Galactica. And I'm like, how many seasons are there? And she's like, well, there's technically 4, and then there's a movie, and then there's another mini series. And in my head, that's 40 hours of time just to watch that show. And I love my girlfriend to death, but I fucking can't sit down and get into that knowing that it's going to take that long. But
I tweeted about this like a week ago. Like, the feeling of like an overwhelming thing coming ahead that, like, you can't, if it takes a ton of time, you're afraid of it.
Yes. But knowing that I can open TikTok and I can go for an hour, because there are days where, like today, lazy piece of shit. I slept until noon. I took a nap from 5 to like 6. I was on my phone a bunch. I didn't do shit up until this podcast. But to be able to sit down and be like, oh, like, I've never seen Stranger Things. Stranger Things is now 3 seasons worth. And I can't sit down. And I think if it was by myself, I could watch it with her. But to knowing that I'm going to be like watching an episode a week and just make it last way too fucking long, I don't want to put her through that. So it's hard for me to just sit down. And I'm just a workaholic. I like working on things and I like learning, and it's hard for me to sit down.
I can do it with movies, but it has to be a movie that I want to watch.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I've done this thing recently where I've been watching a lot more movies lately, but I've been watching them in bits and pieces. And I used to do this when I was younger too. I remember in like middle school and high school, before I went to school, I picked a movie for that week and I watched like 20 minutes every morning. And like, so I've been doing that lately. Like, before I go to bed, I watched like Nacho Libre again in like 20 intervals. That movie still goes hard. Okay. I don't care. That movie is amazing. But yeah, like, just like movies are like, I can stop it because I know that like the rest of the movie is going to happen when I come back to it. Whereas like shows are like, you want to finish the episode because you know you have another episode. Whereas like if a movie, it's 2 hours long. You know you have that 2 hours. You can watch it in 30 minutes, or you can watch the whole thing if you're really liking it, kind of deal. So
that's interesting.
Like, it's weird. Like, I have insane ADD, but only with some things.
Yep, selective. Next question from Dover: why is Bishop such a cutie?
Conbot, go ahead.
He's got a nice beard. I'd say that's probably it. I mean, not as nice as some people in this video
call, right?
But,
yep.
Yeah, but it's okay.
I think that's what makes me cute, is that I don't have as nice of a beard, but I'm trying.
It's that you're trying.
Yeah,
that's important.
You have a great mouth, Bishop. For the audio listeners, Bishop just opened his mouth as wide as possible. Next for middle-aged.
I've seen it wider.
I've seen it much wider. Middle-aged stream for Conbot. What is the ratio of water to product do you use in your hair in order to maintain the homeless religious messiah look? Wow.
What? So wait, is he asking how often I shampoo?
Yes, I think so. Or do you put any product in your hair? I
shampoo like 3 times a week, maybe, I would say. 2 sometimes. I don't know. It's just like whenever I'm like, I should probably shampoo. I shampoo. Like, that's what it is. Like, I don't have a routine. I just like, I don't. Whenever
you feel it.
That's how you achieve the homeless look. Is you don't think about it like a homeless person would.
Exactly. Next question, also from Middle Age Stream. Why are none of you playing Star Wars Squadrons? Okay, it is also crossplay.
This is something I've been, because I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite things ever. But
Star Wars.
Yep.
Hell
I
yeah.
love Gandalf.
I love Gandalf in Star Wars, dude.
It's still, I don't think it's my type of game at the end of the day. Like, I love Star Wars, and if it like ever goes on like some subscription thing, like if it ever goes on Game Pass or it's like on sale or something like that, maybe I'll give it a shot. But though, like, that kind of game doesn't interest me. And even though I love Star Wars, I don't find myself playing it too much. Hit me with a Star Wars RPG, I'm gone for months. Okay.
For me, Crimson Skies for the Xbox, the original Xbox, was one of the first online experiences that I've ever had. It is the first online game experience.
That's the biplane one, right? The Crimson Skies, is that
it's a dogfighting game. It's an old school dogfighting game.
Biplanes, like the two wings, red planes.
Yep.
Oh wait. Okay, I'm wrong. Oh wait.
No, you're right.
That's the one.
You're
that's
right.
The one. Yep.
So one of my favorite games of all time back then. Now, when I think of dogfighting games, my mind goes to I just have to chase somebody or I'm getting chased. That's kind of what like dogfighting is to me. So it's either I'm going to spend my time chasing someone or I'm going to spend my time trying to get away from somebody chasing me. And that's a really bad assumption to make about a video game. But I've seen gameplay of it, and I'm just kind of like, it looks awesome. I'm so fucking stoked. But to me, the game seems very
one-dimensional.
Yes. Very, very one-dimensional. Like, this is the one thing that you do. And I think 15 years ago, this game would have been amazing. But when we have games where you can get out of the cockpit and do other things other than fly,
introduce that into a fully fledged out like Witcher 3 type Star Wars game. You can get in and do that shit. You can also get out and kill some bitches with your lightsaber. Like, I'm in.
Give me
that. I don't know.
Give me fucking Rogue Squadron and Jedi Master 2 and also Shadow of the Empire. And then what's the most recent Star Wars RPG with the guy from the TV show?
Which is great. Jedi Fallen Order.
I thought you said Law and Order. I'm like, what? Jedi Law and Order. So in this, and I will admit that this is me being judgmental about the game of what I've seen. I'm interested in the VR aspect of the game, not necessarily in the pancake version of the game.
Yeah. Just before I go into this, my breakdown, because I have a huge conclusive idea about my thoughts on this game.
Okay.
Did you ever play Blazing Angels on the Xbox?
Yes.
It was World War II dogfighting. It was great. That was a great game too. I remember I'd play that with my brother. It was a good time. The
you have a brother?
one, huh?
You have a brother?
Yeah. He lives in Arizona. His name's MJ. Yeah,
no, it's
he's
not.
He's a good guy. Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a gamer, dude.
You just said he's a good guy.
Good guy. Yeah, he's a Gaddafi.
He's a Rocket League player?
Yeah, he plays. I showed him Rocket League, and it's the game that he went full focus on, and he just became a god. He's really good at Rocket League. He's awesome. I think he's diamond, or I don't know what the equivalent is. He's good. He's plays competitively.
Sweet.
Not he's try hard, and then there's pros. So
right.
He's and then knackers.
Right below tryhard in the knacker zone. Yeah. All right, fair.
But yeah, I think we were talking about this, I think on the last podcast, as far as games that have just simple pieces to them, and then games that get too expansive and try to go crazy. I don't know if I want, if it was me RPGing as the life of a X-Wing pilot, or what's the one with the two sides and the ball in the middle? Do you know what is it?
Oh no,
TIE Fighter.
You're talking about
TIE Fighter. Yeah. So if you were if it was an RPG where you got to select sides and kind of play through it a little bit, and you got the life of the pilot, that'd be kind of cool. To me, it just kind of seems like a VR gimmick, right? There's been a lot of games like that. I'm sure it's great, but I don't play VR. So to me, I'm just oh, cool. Okay. Sounds good. But it doesn't seem like it does anything that's anything interesting.
Unfortunately, I feel in a month, people aren't really gonna be
it's
playing
cool.
it.
It's cool. It's like racing sim stuff. Like you turn it on, you have a good time, you enjoy it, and then you go back to the other game that you were playing, and then eventually like you get the itch to play dirt. And you just hop on and you play for a bit, and that's just kind of how it is. But it's not like I wouldn't sit down and have a huge conversation about my experiences in sim racing with someone. Like, let me talk to you guys about. It's cool. Like me playing Beat Saber, really cool. But like, imagine two guys that play Beat Saber having a discussion at the bar.
Song. Yeah. It's not like a game like I keep bringing up Witcher because it's like everybody knows that game, but it's like you don't sit there and go, "Oh, did you play that one Beat Saber song that was really cool?" But
dude, you guys, I got the box. You know the box that came at the top. That one I fucking got it, and he's like, "Oh, bro, you got the top box."
But you would be like, "Oh, did you play that one mission where this thing happens, and what did you do?" Because there's so much more there. Yeah.
You guys remember the original Star Wars Battlefront?
Mm-hmm.
Where one of the best games of all time, in my opinion.
Both those two.
If they released Star Wars Battlefront 3 in the same way, like if the campaign was the same, where it was just capture these points and hold out longer than the other person, people would lose their fucking mind. Like if that was the campaign of a new game. That's kind of what I feel Star Wars Squadrons is they was like, oh, Star Wars fans liked this game from 20 years ago. Let's just make it again with current graphics. And it's like, that doesn't really fly for me anymore. And it might fly. There are people who can play Star Wars Squadrons for hours and hours and hours, and they can have a fucking blast because they love Star Wars and they're so glad to have a new IP in modern graphics. But for me, when I think about, I have 10 hours of video game play this week. What do I want to play? A game like that is not on my list.
Yeah. And like the whole storyline behind like Anakin fighting Bilbo back. Yeah, Bilbo really ruined Star Wars for me, dude. Like they were always going over the,
when
they were doing this thing and
And then when that one dude controlled that giant snake to kill Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
He was a teacher. He had the long black hair. He was also in Die Hard. What's his fucking name?
The School of Rock guy.
Yes. Yeah, that's him. Schneebly. That was his name.
Schneebly.
Next question
from Star Wars history.
Yeah, we're close. We're there.
Like you guys are like joking about it and all that stuff, but like I would love to talk to just Jimmy about how much stupid knowledge we have of Star Wars. It'd be so interesting because I have way too much stored. That like there are two reasons
Databases.
why I'm dumber than I should be. And one is Star Wars info. Two, like drummer stuff. Like I know fills of songs of like any song I've listened to. That there's some part of my brain that's just storing all that shit, and it could be used elsewhere, but it's not going anywhere.
All right, next question from G for Greg. Do y'all avoid games to stream? By the way, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more questions.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, there was a lot. Do you all avoid games to stream when you know that it will attract backseat gamers, i.e. Fallout and Outer Worlds?
So kind of like how I said kind of before, like a lot of the games that are very prone to backseat gaming, I've already played. So like it's not a huge issue for me because like they'll come in and say like do this and I'm like I know. Like
oh my god.
I played a lot of those games. I think what the problem is that people get backseat gamed when they don't know what to do or they feel like they ask, like for instance, somebody might ask like one question, right? They'll be playing a game and they'll be like, how do you do this? And if there's 20 people in that chat, all 20 of them just read, oh, this person hasn't played this game, so now I'm going to tell them what to do. Whereas like I'm so used to a lot of those games like Fallout and Outer Worlds and games like that I just like pick up on those elements very easily, so I'm not asking a ton of questions all the time.
You're God amongst peons.
not in gameplay, but like I know the functions, so like I think like I don't, and maybe I'm just not like I don't notice when I get backseat as much because it doesn't really bother me as much. I know it bothers
That's a big thing.
like it doesn't really bother me. Like if somebody comes in and says, hey, you should do this thing so that you can do this thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm probably not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm going to play how the fuck I want to play. You can say whatever the hell you want. I don't care.
I'm going to fight you and kick your ass, pussy.
Somebody's like, oh, like you should get this thing and because then you'll have more whatever. It's like, that's not how I'm playing. I don't care. Like it doesn't bother me. Like and part of me is like, I don't encourage backseat gaming, but like I don't care either way. So like if somebody wants a backseat, I don't care. So yeah, to the answer to the question, no, I don't think about backseat gaming when I'm picking a game. I don't care really.
Yeah, I think if you're going to pick that game to stream, you have to go into it realizing that you're trying to stream it so that other people can be entertained, right? Yeah. Like you're not playing it just for yourself. If you're going to do that, just, don't stream it or stream it in with like the expectation that you're not going to be reading chat a lot. Yeah. Like I'm just like you said, Connor, like I'll just sit there and I'll just go, like if someone puts something in chat, I'll just go, oh, okay. Okay, nice. Oh, okay. And that's literally how I read every chat on Twitch.
Sometimes for me, like if it's a game that I'm interested in too, like it's interesting to me if somebody says, hey, this perk does this. And I'm like, oh,
yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
But I don't see that. I guess when it can become backseating when it's like do this thing to get this ending or
that shit's annoying.
Like when it's backseating in the context of like spoiling things, that's annoying.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
Like that. I think everybody agrees with that. Like nobody wants to be spoiled on stuff. So like if you're saying like, oh no, don't do that because if you do that, then you'll get this ending and this shit happens in this ending. Then it's like, okay, fuck off, buddy. But it's like, if it's like something is like, oh, you could have gone here and done this. I'll be like, okay, it's whatever.
For me, I have not played a single player game off stream.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long. The reason that I play single player games on stream is because I do want some sort of interaction with the chat. Not even interaction. I want a certain level of participation. Like the reason I play games like The Witcher or Fallout is because I want people to say, hey, did you know that if you did this, you could do this? In my opinion, I have been very, very blessed with a community that knows to give me just the right amount of information. And I'm kind of like you, Conbot, where if they overstep, I either don't realize it or I just subconsciously don't really care. Because there's also a chance I'm going to read exactly what you're telling me and I'm not going to process it. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
If somebody, I would say 90% of the time, if not whatever, but like if it's like information on the game, if it's more than like a couple sentences, I'm reading it, but it's in one ear out the other.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead.
No, you're good.
Okay. I was going to say that I've never not played a game because I didn't want to get backseat. Yep. Not that I can remember.
Yep.
Next.
I'll say it quick. The only reason that I've like maybe shied away from like a single player game is because of that thing where I talked about earlier where I play it so slow and weird that like I realize it's not entertaining.
Sure.
And then I don't stream it.
You play it for yourself. Yeah.
I play it because I want to enjoy it and get immersed and stuff like that. And I don't feel like I'm adding anything to it really. So that's the only reason, but not backseat.
Gotcha. Next question from Middle Age Stream. Did you decide to wear a beanie this evening because your head was cold or perhaps because you are indeed a big, massive vagine? That was from Middle Age Stream for you, Bishy.
Combo of both, maybe?
Yeah, that's a little bit of both, I think, is the right answer there. I think that, just covering your head is, sometimes it's a warped thing, but sometimes it's to hide from your fears. And,
I'm actually kind of jealous. I can't wear beanies in stream because it gets too hot.
Dude, my ears are getting hot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people stream with beanies, man. And my room is just 10 degrees hotter than any other room at all times. But I'm definitely jealous. Next question from Cullen. How do you all feel about Xbox acquiring ZeniMax, aka Bethesda, that is underneath there?
This I love a lot of Bethesda games, and so I saw this, and I don't know. I feel like it's whatever. Like the biggest change, at least for now, is going to be that the games get added to Game Pass. You know what I mean?
Right.
But other than that, like, I don't think there's going to be like a massive change in how things happen.
I feel
do you want to go?
I feel like this is kind of like Johnson and Johnson, who owns like 40 different companies, but you don't realize that they're owned. Like I just recently there was a company that Smuckers owned. And I just found out about it recently. I'm like, oh, Smuckers is a fucking massive company that owns like all of these different products, and none of them are even related to each other. So I kind of feel like it's not going to be that big of a deal. Yeah. But who knows?
Yeah, I know a developer that used to work for or with the surrounding Hellblade. I can't remember what the producer is or what the Ninja something. Ninja Theory. So I know a guy that used to work there. They got bought out by Microsoft, and then I guess that they kind of tied their hands, right? When Xbox Game Studios was managing them, or Microsoft Game Studios was managing them. So I hope that doesn't happen with Bethesda, but I think at the same time, the past like 5 years for Bethesda has been pretty pathetic, right? Like I don't think we've had a single game that we're like our minds are blown. So maybe it could put them back on track to start making some good shit. I think any company that holds onto an IP too long, they either do a really great job of, holding onto it, or they fuck it up like Blizzard, and they just turn it into a furry RPG where dudes are freaking out in inns together. So I feel like they might be able to help get it across the line. But I've also heard, like, I hope that they don't kind of shackle them and just make them make stupid games. Like I really want the passion to come back and making games that people want to make. You know what I mean? So hopefully that happens. That'd be really cool. And yeah.
So in the past, let's say decade, we have had, as far as like big titles, we've had Fallouts, which is Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. We have had some Doom games. We've had a couple Quake games. We've had Rage. We've had Dishonored. We also have the Elder Scrolls, which obviously is a massive franchise. The Evil Within, the Wolfensteins, correct. We've had Prey, which was criticized heavily. But as far as like the games that Bethesda is most known for on the single player scale, like the Fallouts and the Elder Scrolls, right? The Elder Scrolls, I think, have been fucking amazing. Obviously, Skyrim 5-6 years later is doing amazing. Fallout is not in the same space that Skyrim is as far as longevity and consistency. So
I think it was until they did 76.
Right. 76 was just a fucking dumpster fire. And I know that there's...
I liked 76 more than a lot of people. I probably have over 100 hours. And so like...
Well, I think Bethesda's like, hey, let's just keep delivering these bangers of games that literally everyone loves, and they buy them like crazy, like Fallout 4, 3. They're all like, we can argue which ones were better, but it's like, oh, people love these games and they play them. Same thing with the Elder Scrolls game. And then they're like, oh, what if we do like online games and like super massive multiplayer? What if we have Elder Scrolls Online? Wow, lots of gameplay. Like people are like, hey, I think we talked about this last podcast again, or the one before that. But it's like, hey, all that the community wants is like, hey, we want to be able to co-op like Borderlands. Like I want to play as a fucking ninja in Elder Scrolls killing fucking dragons, and I want Conbot to be there killing the dragon next to me. And they're like, oh, so it sounds like you want a massive multiplayer online video game that you pay monthly for. Yep. It's like, no, we do not want any of that shit. Just give us the next game, but let us play together so we can see each other's progress.
Like look at the mods for any of the Bethesda games.
Yeah.
That's all they have to do. They just look at the mods and think, oh, this is what people want.
Yeah.
Wait, you want multiplayer massively.
Multiplayer, and you want more options for weapons and building. Like boom. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm obviously filled with worry when there's a massive acquisition like that, but there's also a big part of me that thinks we can only go up from where Bethesda is currently. So I'm hopeful.
It was a roller coaster.
Do you guys remember really quickly? Do you guys remember when the original Oblivion trailer came out, like the gameplay trailer showing the inside of that lady's house with the dogs?
Mm-mm.
You guys don't remember that? I remember they were like picking items up and having them like float, right? You know how you could do that in Elder Scrolls games? And I was sitting there like, oh, this is fucking amazing. Like you can interact with stuff in the world. And now we're here.
Next question from the Hellhound, not to be confused with Hellhound. Do you guys think EA should go back to their roots?
Of what?
That was my
not scamming people, scamming people with game or like passes and shit and like in-game currencies. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I guess when I think of EA and their roots, I think sports games.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm sure they've done more than that. If it's go back to sports games and stop bothering the rest of the gaming stuff, sure, yes, please.
Sell Star Wars to someone good.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
EA Games has been around since 1983.
Jeez.
So they've had, holy shit, the amount of games. Oh my God. The amount of games that have been released in between 1983 and 1999 is a shit ton. Like I'm gonna post this link in chat if anybody wants to take a look. Oh my God, that's just
wait. What are the years? 99,
83 to 99.
Okay, so take those years and then multiply it by every sport, and then you pretty much have your answer.
But I mean, and then here's from 1999 to 2000 and dude, I'm scrolling forever. 2009. That's going to be the second link.
Name one banger. Go. That you've played from EA.
The Battlefield 4.
Was that EA?
Recently, or just in general?
Well, it's DICE.
DICE, yeah.
DICE and EA.
That's all allowed.
The Sims 4.
I kind of like The Sims.
I'm trying to look at these games. Anthem. Anthem was a banger. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Nobody's fucking heard of that game.
The Destiny killer.
Right.
Destiny just had like the Uno card that's a reverse card, and they're like, no.
I can't. So in chat is incoming the third list of games that were, because EA is technically a publisher, right? Not a developer.
EA is like the company that started with sports and then thinks they can do like, they're like that guy in high school that was like the quarterback in high school, and they were like, I'm going to start $1 million company because like they got all that confidence for no reason. Like they were like, wow, people really like our sports games. Let's try and do other ones. And everybody's like, no, but they don't
I'm an influencer now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking games that are listed here that are actually decent. Skate, the Skate series is on here.
That's another game that they're just like Bethesda. It's like, we just want one more Skate like the second one or the first one. And then they're like, what do you guys actually want? And then they give us the complete opposite.
Rock Band, Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit. That's a fucking banger right there. Dead Space 2, Dead Space 1, Bejeweled, Dragon Age. I know a lot of people fucking love Dragon Age. Plants vs. Zombies, Burnout.
Great game.
Crisis. So, but I mean, again, these are publishers and not developers and not the ones behind it. So, absolutely, I think they should go back to the roots because they're fucking sucking ass right now.
They're trash.
Last question, I believe, to answer. There was a couple that were submitted about 3090s. Let's see, Covenant. The last one from Covenant. I'm going to get a 3000 series GPU and was going to go for the EVGA for the win 3090, but my brother said the performance isn't worth it from the 3080 to the 3090. Thoughts? He said it's more of a workstation GPU, not gaming.
You can definitely game better than any GPU that's on the market. So it's kind of like the performance benefit for the cost isn't necessarily for gaming, but it's still going to shit on any other gaming GPU, right? That's the way that I put it. And by shit on, I mean like marginally better. Like I think it's like what 20% better than a 3080.
Not even that. 10 to 15.
So I think if you're in the market to just spend a bunch of money and you have the money, buy a 3090, you're kind of future proofing, but you also don't know what they're going to come out with. I mean, I bought a 1080 Ti when they first came out. I think I spent like $1,600 on mine because they were on the black market at the time, and I bought it from a guy off Craigslist and in a Fry's parking lot. And
damn,
I haven't upgraded it. I still have the same one in my PC. So I think you're paying to not have to buy a new graphics card in the future, but at the same time, like you're probably not going to use the video RAM. So you're spending, for what is it, like an extra 14 gigabytes of video RAM, you're spending over $1,000. So, or relative, like about $1,000. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. If you're not going to use it, you probably get away with the 3080. I'm actually leaning towards the 3080 now a little bit. But I 3D render and video RAM memory is very important to me. So I'm going to try to get something. But also to answer the second part of that question, I've heard some stuff about transistors and some of the partners that are making the cards like Zotac. I think EVGA was one of them. Apparently they're cheaping out on the parts and they're okay. They're good, but I guess at high temperatures and if you overclock them, they shut down.
So NVIDIA really had to release drivers that were capping clock speeds in order to avoid those.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate.
From what I've gathered, and thankfully here in 2020, there's a really, really easy way to decipher this. Go and search these 3080 versus 3090 performance tests, and you can see, it's going to be, if I pay $800 for a 3080, I can get 140 frames in Tomb Raider. But if I buy a 3090, I can get 150 frames in Tomb Raider in 4K. I think everybody was expecting the 3090 to absolutely blow the fucking cap off of the 2080, and that didn't really happen. What I've seen, and I haven't looked a lot into it, is that the 3090 is not supposed to be this end-all be-all card over the 3080. It's meant to do some things that are better and some things that are in the workstation era or ecosystem instead of the gaming. Because again, you're paying fucking an extra $1,000.
Another one, yeah.
Right, you could have a second one, just for the 10 to 15% difference. And the difference in 4K gaming is not all that better anyways. So, and you got to remember too, if you're streaming all the time when you're gaming, that it's going to be a different story. The NVENC encoder that is on the 3080 and the 3090 that are not any better than the previous series. So there's no performance hike there. It's all just going to be based on gaming experience. So to me, I can't say it's worth to spend that amount of money, because if they were able to make that massive of a jump in performance from the 2080 to the 3080, what are they going to be able to do from the 3090 to whatever card is next? And at this point, what games are keeping up with that? Like Borderlands 3 on a fucking 1080, I can barely crack 60 frames per second. You're going to have some games that absolutely play amazing. So let's say the game that you play 24/7, there is a 50% frame increase from the 3080 to the 3090. Absolutely, it's probably worth it to you. But I would say that 80% of the games that are out right now are not benefiting from that hardware bump and that price jump.
Yeah. Do you need the power? Is it better? Yes. The 3090 is better than the 3080. It's better. Do you need the extra power? Are you going to see the benefit? Probably. You're going to see a bit of benefit, but you probably don't need the cost of the benefit. Like you're not 3D rendering. You're not doing extensive tasks on your PC. You're probably just watching this Twitch channel. Yep.
And it could be great for all the games you play now. Is it going to be great for the games to come out in a year from now? You don't know. Last question. And that kind of tied in the Hellhounds questions from earlier, 3090 thoughts. Again, I've never been about, for me and my gaming, spending as much on a graphics card as the rest of my computer. Like I've never required that much. And again, the whole conversation comes into play. Are you going to notice the difference between 140 frames per second and 180 frames per second? That's up for you to decide. Last question.
With 60 frames.
Oh my God, we can't even go down there, dude.
That's why I didn't even. I have no say in any of this. I am perfectly fine with 60 frames, 1080p all day.
Do you make $100,000 a year? Buy a 3090. Last question from the Hellhound. Did you guys know Spotify is getting ready to implement their own streaming options? So there's a possibility that Spotify can become the real Twitch killer. I don't believe that they're aiming to be a Twitch killer, to be honest.
I don't, saying that some company is going to be a something other company killer is like setting it up for failure.
Yeah. Who's going to be the next YouTube? Nobody. Yeah. Vimeo tried. Vidly tried. VidMe tried.
Uvid.
Pornhub. Yep. Ustream. Remember that? Remember Ustream?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's cool that there's some sort of competitor in the space, like we know with Joe Rogan's podcast making the move over to Spotify. That's like, oh shit, there's video streaming that is on the horizon. But as far as somebody coming in and just off the cuff taking down Twitch, it's not gonna fucking happen. It's gonna be somebody like YouTube that is already established that is actually gonna come in and actually do some damage. I'm excited because I know everybody loves Spotify. I don't know why, because I think they have the most stupidest fucking UI that I've ever seen out of a music player anyways.
Spotify? You don't like Spotify's?
No, I think Spotify's...
I enjoy it. I think I like it.
And this is coming from somebody who also thinks that Apple Music has its stupid, abysmal UI as well.
I think Apple Music has a shitty one.
Yeah, I think they're both
Apple's
shitty.
Is worse than Spotify's.
What do you think of Discord's UI?
Discord is the cleanest, most unorganized UI that I've ever used.
That's good.
So, like, just on the first things that come in my brain, how they organize servers, stupid, absolutely stupid. The fact that user settings are at the bottom and take you to a certain part of settings, and then server settings are at the top and take you to a different part of settings, and how you can have notification and privacy settings that are underneath your server settings profile, and then you can also have a different settings at the bottom left. I've never understood why they separated those two, but also I feel like every time I go into Discord settings, I'm going in for the first time. Like, I never know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But also, I think I'm dumb. So,
same. I feel you on that one.
Yeah. Damn. All right.
We all think we're dumb. All right.
All right. All of us. Okay. That's fair. That is the end of the question and answer. And unfortunately, that is also the end of this episode of Crocs and Hot Pockets. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room and have everybody announce where you can find them online and if they have anything special that's coming up. So, Mr. Bishop GP, we will start with you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at Bishop Was Here, on Twitch at Bishop GP. I just started a DayZ server, so if you want to join that, feel free to reach out on either Twitch or Twitter, and we'll get you hooked up with that. If you want to play some DayZ with some friends, that'd be sick. But besides that, that's pretty much it.
My name is Combat789. It's that everywhere. I do streams most nights. Also, honestly, this is the one thing I'm most excited about recently. Recently, on Monday nights, I've been taking some vitamins and hanging out in my Discord channel and just having people stop by. And one night, I made like 3 songs randomly. The other night, I was like playing a game, and we just kind of hang out in the Discord. So if you want some fun times hanging out in Discord, and you can mess with me, that's the big benefit, because your boy is he's in a different headspace, so you can come in and mess around. So
please fuck me. Anyone. My name is Knackers. You guys can find me on this very Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Knackers. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Knackers as well, with 3 A's. You guys can find me on YouTube, where I've completely kind of transitioned my YouTube channel into being like a tech-oriented tutorial and guide where I've just been posting tutorial videos about streaming, about technology, documenting project logs and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to be live during the week. If you guys know me, my during the week streaming schedule has been completely up in the air. But when I am live, you'll find me talking about technology, going over hardware, software, video games. We do lots of single player campaigns. We do a lot of Rocket League. And then, of course, we do the podcast every Sunday. So you guys will catch another episode of Crocs and Hot Pockets next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will throw a link in chat where you can get links to all of the guest social media if you want to follow them on Twitter or Twitch or what have you. But otherwise, we're going to be bouncing up out of here. Thank you guys so very much. If you want to stick around, we're going to raid another channel. I would really appreciate if you would help us spread the love to somebody else. But otherwise, to you motherfuckers, it was really good to see you. Conbot, thank you for filling in for Middle Age Stream this week. And we will see you guys. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. All right, you guys have a good night. Goodbye.
Peace.
Thank you very much for checking out this episode of the Crocs and Hot Pockets podcast. If you would like to catch the show live, it airs on Twitch on my channel at twitch.tv/snackers at 9 p.m. every single Sunday. If you would like to check out the most recent episode of the podcast, you can probably click this little box here. And if you feel like checking out some of our highlights, you can maybe click this little box down here. And maybe I'll even put a little thing for you to click right here. No? Bye.